Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto falls in love with Shikamaru part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. An eerie howl ripped through the air of the Hidden Leaf village. The villagers cowered in fear because before them stood a terrible creature of immense power and fear. The might beast had swirls of red and dangerous energy flowing from its body, destroying everything in its path. This beast resembled a fox, but this fox had 9 tails and was to known many as the Kyuubi. "A monster!" were the many screams of the terrified villagers trying to flee the terrible beast. "Someone called the 4th Hokage to save us!" were the screams of others. As panic and terror spread through the village, a huge cloud of smoke appeared in front of the 9-tailed fox. When the smoke cleared, a giant toad with a pipe in his mouth was revealed to the scared villagers as a tall blonde-haired man stood proudly on top of him. "It's the 4th Hokage, we're saved!" cheered the villagers. "Gamabunta, I need you to lure the Kyuubi away from the village and towards me," ordered the blonde-haired man. Gamabunta breathed in a huge puff of smoke from his pipe, then breathed out before he spoke. "You do know you will not survive after this, right?" questioned the toad sage. "Yes, I'm well aware of that fact, Gamabunta, but this is what is best for the village and for my little girl," the 4th Hokage proclaimed with a line of regret in his voice. "Very well. I shall lead the 9 tails to you. Just be ready with that jutsu of yours and be ready to say your goodbyes," spoke the toad sage as he leaped towards the fox. "I will, and thank you, my old friend. I won't ever forget you," spoke the 4th as he disappeared off of the toad's head in a swirl of leaves. The man soon reappeared in front of a deserted cabin in the mountains outside of the village. It was there the man found a woman with fiery red hair cradling a blonde-haired baby in her arms. "Minato, where is the Kyuubi?" asked the woman. "Gamabunta is leading him this way." "Kushina, how are you feeling?" asked Minato. "I won't last for much longer, Minato. My body has taken too much damage from giving birth to having the Kyuubi released from my body," she tells him. "Kushina, don't say that. You have to live so you can take care of our daughter and mold her into a miniature you," Minato pleaded in a teasing way with tears in his eyes, knowing the fate he has brought upon his daughter. Kushina smiles at him. "My beloved, you know I am going to die. But I'll die knowing our daughter will be cared for by you, and I'll know she'll become a strong kunoichi because of you," she tells him, holding their little girl closer to her. Minato's eyes darken and his voice creaks a little bit when he speaks to her again. "No, I wouldn't be here to see her grow up either. I've decided to reseal Kyuubi inside of her," he confessed heavy-heartedly. "Minato, you can't do that to her. She needs to have one of us with her. How could you even think about doing this to our daughter? You're willing to make her life a living hell by sealing that demon into her," screamed Kushina. "I know this will make her life harder, and I know the pain you went through by being the Kyuubi's host, but I believe she can handle it. She's our daughter after all," replied Minato with a grin on his face. "I hope you're right about this, Minato," Kushina says with a grim look on her face. "Don't worry, I'm positive she will be a ninja this village will be proud of," declared Minato proudly. Just then a huge crash can be heard outside of the cabin, causing both Minato and Kushina to look out the window to see Gamabunta covered in blood. "Minato, I got him here. The rest is up to you," wheezed the great toad sage before he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. "It's time," Minato stated, carrying Kushina and his daughter outside. "Do you want to say anything to her?" "No, I told everything I had to say in the cabin, but you need some time with her, so I'll hold the Kyuubi off as long as I can for you," Kushina says before giving Minato their daughter. "I love you, be a good girl for mama when I'm gone," Kushina says softly to her baby girl, creasing her face with tears falling from her eyes, giving the baby a gentle kiss on the forehead before going off to face the Kyuubi. "Well, baby girl, looks this is my goodbye to you, but don't be sad, okay?" he says softly to the sleeping baby in his arms. "In your life you're going to face many troubles and a lot of heartache, and that will because of what I'm about to do. But I hope one day you'll understand why I did this, and I hope you'll forgive me. I want you to know that your mother and I love you with all our hearts, and I hope that someday the village will recognize you as the hero you are," he tells her with tears flowing from his eyes. "This sucks, you know, because I was really looking forward to being a father to you and seeing you grow up and to see you become a beautiful young woman and a strong kunoichi like your mother," he tells you as the tears continued to flow from his eyes. "I really wish things could have been different, but I have to do this because it will save the village and it will protect you from harm in the future. I just wish I could be there for you when you grew up, baby girl," he tells his daughter with a sad smile on his face, looking at the beautiful baby in his arms as the tears continued to flow from his eyes. Minato hears Kushina scream his name when the Kyuubi knocked her through the cabin walls as the Kyuubi appeared in the clearing, covered in chains from Kushina's attack. "4th Hokage! Where are you, you coward?" roared the Kyuubi. Right here, Kyuubi. It's time to put a stop to you, Minato yelled, performing multiple hand signs for his Soul Reaper jutsu. With the completion of the hand signs, a giant Soul Reaper appeared behind Minato and attacked the Kyuubi and sucked out the Demon-S spirit. When the Kyuubi spirit was sucked out, Minato placed his hand on the baby's stomach, sealing the Kyuubi-S spirit into her along with Kushina-S and his soul. Farewell, my precious little girl. May you find happiness someday, Naruto, were Minato's last words before he passed away with Kushina and Naruto in his arms. After the Kyuubi was sealed away inside of Naruto, a group of ninjas appeared in the clearing where the little family lay. Looks like Minato beat the Kyuubi, said a man with long white hair with a sad face looking towards his fallen pupil holding his family. Yes, so it would seem, but at the price of his life and his daughter's happiness, said an old man. Because of that demon, my sensei is dead now, spat a silver-haired teenage boy, glaring daggers at the baby girl in his sensei's arms. We should kill it now before it can cause any more harm to the village. The silver-haired boy then started performing multiple hand signs, and when he was done, his right hand had electricity flowing from his palm as he charged at the baby in his sensei's arms. Right when he was about to strike the child, a teenage girl with purple hair jumped in front of the man to protect the baby from his attack. Kakashi, stop! Screamed the purple-haired teenager. Yugao, get out of the way! I have to avenge my sensei's death! Kakashi growled. Do you really think killing your sensei's daughter will avenge his death, Kakashi? Yugao asked gently, knowing he was in pain. Kakashi dropped his attack when Yugao's words sunk into his head. The girl he was about to attack was indeed his sensei's daughter, his flesh and blood, and he was about to kill her. Forgive me, sensei, for I have brought shame to you, he says bitterly, hanging his head in dishonor for his actions. Kakashi, I know you hate the Kyuubi for taking your sensei away from you. I hate it too, but the Kyuubi is inside the fourth's only daughter. We have to protect her from danger, or he would never forgive us if we let anything bad happen to her, Yugao tells him. Yugao is right, we must find someone to care for the child, stated the old man, speaking up once again. I'll take care of her, Lord Hokage, said an elderly-looking woman with grayish-brown hair. Thank you for offering, Lady Keed, but I don't think you can care for the girl in your age, said the third Hokage. Look here, Hiruzen, I may be old, but I can still care for a child, and besides, I'm not taking no for an answer. Kushina was like a daughter to me, and I'll be damned if I let anyone else rise her daughter, stated Keed, showing her resolve on the matter. Very well, Keed, you will be allowed to be the girl's guardian, Hiruzen yielded, knowing he would never win against his stubborn ex-wife. What are we going to name her? Yugao asked, looking at the baby in the white-haired man's arms. I remember Minato telling me he was planning on naming the baby Naruto, the white-haired man tells them as he hands the sleeping baby over to Keed. I like that name, Master Jiraiya, Yugao said, walking over to the sleeping baby in Keed's arms. So her name is going to be Naruto Namikaze? Kakashi asked. No, she will take her mother's maiden name, that way she won't draw too much attention to herself and from our enemies for being the daughter of the fourth Hokage, Hiruzen stated. I believe you are right about her not taking Minato's name, but is it really to keep our enemies from getting her, or so the people in this village won't have a fit about the Kyuubi's host being the daughter of the fourth Hokage? Jiraiya inquired. I will not inform the village that this child is the Kyuubi's host, as none of you are to speak of it as well. Is that clear? Hiruzen ordered. Yes, Lord Hokage, everyone replied. Good. As of now, Kakashi, Yugao, you two will be put in charge of being Keed's and Naruto's bodyguards. Make sure to protect her and Keed from danger, Hiruzen ordered the two teenagers. Yes, sir, replied both teenagers. Hiruzen then looked over to the baby girl cradled in Keed's arms and gave the blonde-haired girl a sad smile. Keed, I'm counting on you to take care of this child. I could never face Minato or Kushina again in the afterlife if anything ever happened to their daughter, he said solemnly with a reserved look on his face. No need to worry, Hiruzen. This child will grow up to be one of the greatest ninjas this village has ever seen. Believe it, Keed shouted cheerfully, pumping her fist in the air with a huge grin on her face. Why do I have the sinking feeling those words are going to be a real pain in my backside in the future, muttered the Hiruzen with an edge of humor in his voice. 5 years have passed since the Kyuubi's attack on the Hidden Leaf Village, and with that attack that took a lot of people their lives in the fight against the Demon Fox. Not too long after everything got back to normal did the Grand Council of the village announce to everyone that the Kyuubi was sealed inside Naruto against Hiruzen's direct orders. After the revealing of Naruto's status of being the Kyuubi's, did the third Hokage ordered the people of the village to never tell the girl about what was sealed inside her. After the discovery, the villagers started hating the girl and started treating her like a total outcast every time they saw her. The blonde-haired little girl is hurt, and confused by the harsh treatment of her fellow villagers. She wants to understand what she did that was so wrong to bring forth this much hate-filled glares towards her along with cruel and unforgiving names. Names like monster, freak, demon child/brat etc., the kind of names that leave scars on her heart. Naruto tries to show the villagers their words and actions don't affect her by forcing a smile on her face to show them she is strong and that she is oblivious to them. That fake smile works on some people and they take Naruto for a fool. There is a select few of people that are not tricked by her fake smile, for they are the few that have seen her real smile. Those few people were Lady Kidd, Old Man Hokage, Dog, Cat, and Irika-sensei. These people meant the world to Naruto because they're the ones who treated her like she was a somebody and not a freak like everybody else in the village. They're the ones who helped pull her out of her darkness and loneliness with their love. Thinking about all her special people brought a smile to her tan and whiskered face. Lady Kidd was like her grandmother and has been the one to take care of her entire life. She also like her sensei since she has been showing her some of her medical ninjutsu techniques along with how to make medicine out of the different herbs located around the village. A funny fact people don't know about her is that she taught Lady Tsunade how to be a medical ninja. Kidd even told Naruto she had the potential to be just as good as her someday, as long as she kept practicing. Naruto's smile grew bigger thinking about her grandmother. She really loved her and was grateful for all the things she does for her. One of her next favorite person was Old Man Hokage, or as she liked to call him Grandpa, because he like Lady Kidd treated her like a granddaughter. When he is not too busy with work he takes her shopping, he even takes her out to get her favorite food in the world, ramen. Another thing she loves about her grandpa is that he lets her stay with him in his office when her grandma is called to the hospital to help with patients who are in critical conditions. Yeah, her grandma just that good. Another few of her special people are Dog and Cat. Those two are her guards given to her by Grandpa to protect her from the villagers who might and try to hurt her if she wasn't careful. Thought sometimes she gets into trouble anyway because they get sent away on really dangerous missions because of their rankings. When that happens she gets new guards, but they don't like her so she gets hurt, and when they get back they're mad and punish the guards who failed to protect her. The reason they do that is because they see Naruto as their little sister, and anyone tries to hurt her while they're around better have good insurance. Whenever they're around they teach her the principles of being a ninja of Konoha, and they even teach her some of their fighting techniques, which is a lot of fun. But what makes it really special for Naruto is the fact she is spending time with her older siblings. Now for one of the really special person Naruto admires is Irika-sensei. To Naruto, Irika is her ideal father figure in her life. Irika treats her to dinner whenever everyone is busy with work. He plays with her in the park near the academy where he works, and when she has tried he takes her home and puts her to bed while kissing her goodnight and reading her a story. The circumstances on how Irika came into Naruto's life was not moment most people would like, but to Naruto she wouldn't change a thing of that day for the world. It led to her finding another person to accept her for who she was and for her to find someone to treat her like she was his own daughter. With the thoughts of her father figure in her head, Naruto slips in her memories of the first time she met Irika. The story will now be told in Naruto's POV and will be told through a flashback sequence. That day started out like every other day to me. I woke up, got dressed in a bright orange t-shirt and put on a pair of blue shorts. I then put on my ninja sandals Grandpa just got me. After getting dressed I ate breakfast and told Grandma bye while heading off to the Hokage Tower to see the Grandpa. As I walked to the tower I received the usual hateful glances from the villagers. Typical. Yep, just another ordinary day in my life, I think, as I continued my way to the Hokage Tower and then to the Grandpa's office. I walked in to greet him with my usual hug and asked him if there was anything I could do to help him. He smiles at me and tells me I can help him by putting away finished documents in the filing cabinet after he finished sorting through them. When we're finished with all of the paperwork he offered to take me to get something to eat at Ichiraku Ramen Bar, which made me extremely happy. We walked into the ramen stand where we were greeted by the owners with smiles on their faces and were served with what I like to call heaven in a bowl. After dinner I told the owners and Grandpa bye and took off to the cabin home I shared with my grandmother. On the way home I heard a cry for help and went to see what was wrong. As I rounded the corner I saw a group of 3 men beating up a woman in her late 20s trying to strip off her clothing. Seeing this horrible scene made me to cry out in shock, which earned me the attention of the disgusting men. They had this weird look in their eyes that caused a cold shiver to go up my spine, and at that moment I knew something bad was going to happen. "Looky here boys, we got ourselves a young one to play with," said the ringleader, at least I assumed he was since the other two looked like his followers. "Hey boss, do you think she has a screamer like this one?" snickered the man closest to the women on the ground. "Don't know, let's find out and see." "Get her," ordered the ringleader. With the order given the men came after me, but I ran away as fast as I could out of the alleyway and made my way towards the woods thinking I could lose them there. I was able to get about maybe 15 feet into the woods before I tripped on a rock and tumbled off a little cliff into a small clearing. After recovering from my fall, I tried to get back up and make another break for it, only to fall back down because my left ankle was twisted and hurt like crazy, and at that point it was already starting to swell. As I tried to get back up again, I was too late. The men had already caught me. "Got you now, you little bitch," spat the ringleader, as he pulled me up by my hair to his face, where I smelled the foul stench of alcohol on his breath. As I tried to squirm my way out of his grasp, I saw the men's eyes change from their previous glazed look to a more readable look for her. The look of hatred. "Boss, that's the demon brat," one of the men in the group stated. "I can see that, dumbass, I'm not blind. Just because she's the demon brat doesn't mean we still can have some fun with her," the ringleader sneered, causing the other men to chuckle evilly. With plan, decided the man who held me threw me to the ground, kicking and stomping on my petite body, with his men joining him, throwing in their own punches and kicks at me. As the assault continued, the harder the attacks came, and soon it caused me to start coughing up the blood that filled my mouth from busted lip. At the moment, the only thing I could think about doing to protect myself from this vicious beating was to huddle into a ball to defend myself, hoping it would soon. Just when I was on the brink of unconsciousness, I had a voice shouting in the distance, telling the men to stop. When the guys who were beating me heard the screaming voice, they got scared and ran off, leaving me broken and beaten on the ground. It hurt to move anything after the men left, and as I lay there, I heard the footsteps, the person who scared them away, walking over to me. I tried to see who it was, but it hurt too much to move, so I just kept my head down and waited for this person to finish me off, believing they were just like everyone else in the village. As I waited for the person to come over, I heard the person gasp in shock, probably because he saw who he saved from those men and regretted saving the monster of the village, I thought sadly, making my heart ache more than the pain I felt from the beating I just endured. As the stranger finally stood beside my battered form, I was confused by what they did. The man picked me up gently into his arms and started to carry me out of the woods. "What's going on? Doesn't this guy know who I am?" I asked myself. "Wonder where he is taking me." Well, might as well ask. Excuse me, but where are you taking me?" I asked, stuttering out in a low, raspy voice. "The hospital. You need to get these wounds looked at before they get infected," the man told me. "Why? Why are you helping me?" I asked, totally confused by the man's act of kindness. "That's a stupid thing to ask. You're hurt, and what those men did to you is unforgivable. I mean, for them to beat a child to this extent is downright unforgivable," he tells me. "Don't you hate me like everybody else in the village?" I ask. I saw the man tense up at my question as emotions passed through his eyes before he relaxed again and held me closer in a more protective manner. "No. I don't hate you. Listen, the people of this village are nothing but a bunch of blind fools who don't see that you are just a little girl and that it wasn't your fault for the things that have happened to you. You were just at the wrong place at the wrong time," he tells me. "Do you know why the village hates me?" I ask. "Yes, I do. But I can't tell you what it is that makes the people hate you, just that it's not your fault, and that shouldn't let the people of this village bother you. You are your own person, and someday I hope everyone will," that he tells me while giving me a warm smile that showed off his kind brown eyes. The man, as I came see, was around his late teens, with a scar running across the top of his nose, with his brown hair up in a ponytail. "You are a very nice person, mister," I tell him with a smile on my bruised face, snuggling deeper into his arms, finally starting to feel safe in his warm embrace. "Thank you, but you can call me Irika if you like." "What's your name?" he asked. "My name's Naruto Uzumaki," I tell him. "Well, Naruto, it's very nice to meet you," he tells me. "Likewise, Irika-sensei," I say when I see his Chunin uniform. "Now come on, let us get you to the hospital," he said. "I know your grandmother and grandfather are worried sick about you." "That's right, Grandma expected me home hours ago. I hope she's not mad at me," I say in a low voice. "Lady Keed is not mad at you, just worried," Irika-sensei replied. When we got out of the forest, we ran into Dog and Cat, who looked physically sick when they saw my bloody and bruised body. "Oh my God! What happened to you, Naruto?" Cat cried, she running over to me, gently lifting me of Irika's arms. "I was attacked by a couple of men on my way home," I tell her. "Come on, I'm taking you to the hospital right now," Cat stated, taking off in the direction of the hospital, leaving Dog and Irika-sensei behind. When Cat landed in front of the hospital, Grandma was already outside waiting for us and came running over to us, breaking out into tears once she saw my battered body. "Dear God, how could this have happened to you?" cried my grandmother, as she wrapped me into her arms and rushed me inside. She then took me to an examination room where she checked me over and then started treating my wounds. That night will forever haunt me, but I had my family to take care of me, so it got better over time. But thanks to the attack, I met Irika-sensei, and that to me makes the whole thing worth it. End of flashback. That night was over a year ago, but it still haunts her, but she refuses to let the night take over her life. She just stays focused on her studies and doesn't think about it much anymore, just on some occasions. Being so lost in thought, Naruto didn't notice she bumped into someone until she hit the ground. Looking up about to apologize to the person she bumped into, she got hit over the head with a broom. "You damn monster, get out of here now," screamed the man she ran into. Naruto tried to get up when he started to hitting her with the broom, preventing her from getting up. The commotion the man started caused a group of people to surround them. "What's going on here?" asked a man from the group of people around them. "This brat here tried to steal from my store," accused the man, looking outraged. This caused the people around them to glare at Naruto because they believed the man and his bogus lie. The outrageous lie caused Naruto's blood to boil in rage for being called a theft. "That's a lie. I was not stealing anything from him. I was just walking by when this jackass hit me with his broom," she screamed, pointing an accusing finger at the man. The people looked outraged that Naruto had called a member of the village a liar and decided to punish her by beating her up. She tried to break free of their attacks, and when she did, she ran away as fast as she could. Naruto started dashing through the streets of village, trying to outrun the angry mob behind her. Looking around frantically for an escape route, she saw an alleyway and dashed down it, but soon found out it was a dead end. She started to panic, trying to find another escape route through her blood-filled eyes, and soon caught sight of a low-hanging ladder and started climbing up it. When she was up the ladder, she pulled it up and hid in the shadows of the wall. The angry mob entered the alleyway and started looking around for her, and when they couldn't find her, they gave up and started looking elsewhere. When she thought the coast was clear, she climbed to the top of the building and climbed onto the roof. "Man, that was so close, they almost got me," Naruto says out loud, breathing a sigh of relief. "I'll say," says a voice from nowhere. "And Naruto screamed. "Will you shut up already?" shouted the unknown voice. "Geez, you're so troublesome. All that screaming is giving me a headache." "Sorry, you just surprised me is all," she said sheepishly as she regained her composure after her little fright. "Whatever. Hey, are you all right? That gash on your head looks pretty nasty. Doesn't it hurt?" the stranger asked. Naruto gently touched the wound on her head, wincing a little bit from the sting it gave her. "It does a little bit, but it won't hurt for long. I'm a fast healer," she tells him after figuring out the stranger was a boy. "Here, let me help you get the blood off your face. That way you can see better," he says, kneeling down beside her. Okay," Naruto stuttered, not expecting the boy to be so nice to her, and was a little caught off guard when he started whipping the blood off of her face. "Ow!" she hissed as the stinging pain flared up when the rag touched the open gash on her head. "Sorry, but just bear with the pain a little longer, I'm almost done. Close your eye for a minute so I can get the rest of the blood off," he tells me as he continued to rub the blood off. "If you don't mind me asking, how did you get this gash in your head anyway?" Naruto started to look nervous, not wanting to be beaten again by telling him the truth, so she didn't. "I fell," she said, feeling like an idiot for telling such an obvious lie like that, which made her more nervous, which made her fiddled with the end of her shirt subconsciously. "It's alright, you don't have to tell me, just don't lie to me. I don't like liars, they're too troublesome to be around," he tells her, moving the rag back up her head to stop the wound from bleeding again. Naruto looked at her feet shamefully, feeling like a scolded little girl for being caught lying. "How could you tell?" "Well, for starters, you used the lamest excuse in the books. But it's also because you were fidgeting a lot and you were playing with your shirt subconsciously," he explained, removing the rag to find the wound was healed and no longer bleeding. "I guess you really are a fast healer." A nervous laugh escaped from her, along with an amused one hearing the boy's explanation, and scratched her head in embarrassment. "I guess Grandma was right, I'm a horrible liar, huh?" The boy gave a small chuckle. "Yeah, you really are. So are you going to tell me what really happened, or are you going to leave to guess what happened for myself? If you choose the last opinion, that'll be a real troublesome pain, you know," he tells her. Naruto gave him a small smile and giggled before her smile turned sad. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them the truth." "Well, I'm not everybody. I'm me, so I'll be the judge of whether you're lying to me or not. So tell me what happened and maybe I can help," the boy said, removing the rag from her face to take a sit beside her against the brick wall. Naruto blinked open her eyes after the blood was removed from her face and looked over at the boy. He was about her age, maybe a few months older than her. Taking in his appearance, she let a small giggle escape her when she saw his hair up in a ponytail that made it look like a big pineapple was on his head. "What are you giggling at?" he asked her. She points at him. Your hair looks like a giant pineapple, she tells him, still giggling. He looks up at his hair before a smile appears on his face. This sends a nice warm feeling through Naruto, while also bringing a small shade of pink to her cheeks as he started laughing. What's so funny, pineapple head? Naruto asked, thinking he was laughing at her, which made her blush harder. That's the same exact thing my mom said to my dad when they first met, so it's a little funny to me to hear someone else say that besides my mother, he tells her. Naruto gave him a funny look even though she was still smiling. You're a little strange, weird pineapple head. I like strange, she says teasingly. Will you quit calling me pineapple head, blue eyes? I have a name, you know, he tells her. Naruto gave him a cheeky grin. Well, tell me what your name is, that way I quit calling you pineapple head, she stated, crossing her arms over her chest with a good-natured smile on her face. Man, you're just as troublesome as my mother, he mumbled. The name's Shikamaru, and you would be Naruto Uzumaki, and it's very nice to meet you, Shikamaru, she tells him, sticking her hand out to him to complete their greeting. Yeah, likewise, Naruto, he says, taking her smaller hand and his returning the handshake. So Naruto, you ready to tell me what happened to you and why your head was bashed open? Do you promise not to beat me up after I tell you? She asks, still wary about him believing her or not. I already told I'll judge what you tell me when you tell me, but I can already tell you wouldn't lie about this, so I will most likely will believe you, and if I didn't believe you I wouldn't hurt you, Shikamaru tells her, seriously looking into her blue eyes before he gave her a soft smile. Naruto felt comforted by his words, like she could trust him, so she began to tell him her story. Okay, what happened was this. I was walking down the street on my way to visit my grandpa when I got lost in thought, and I bumped into someone. I was going to apologize to the person, but before I could say anything he started beating me up with a broom. Shikamaru decided to interrupt her at this point to ask a question. Why would he just hit you for no reason like that? I don't know, but for some reason a lot of people in the village hate me. To be honest, I have no idea what I did to make them all so mad at me, she tells him. Man, that sounds like such a drag, but continue with your story, he tells her. Well, after the man started beating me with the broom, a group of people started gathering around us asking what was going on. The man told them that I tried to steal from his store, and the people believed him, so when I tried to protect my honor by calling the man a liar, but all that did was make the people angry. The people started attacking me, just like the man with the broom. After a while I was able to get away from them and made a run for it, until I ran into the alley down there and got myself cornered. I started panicking until I saw the leader hanging down, and decided to climb up it and hide from the mob in the shadows of the wall. I stayed there until the mob was gone. That's when I climbed to the top of this building where I met you, Naruto says, finishing her long story. Wow, that's horrible. Why would anyone just randomly attack you just like that? God, it sounds like you have a very tough life, he tells her, feeling very bad for her. It's hard at times, but hey, it's my life, what can I do? You're lucky you don't have to fear walking down the street afraid someone going to hit you upside the head or getting chased down by angry mob, Naruto commented. No thanks, that would be too troublesome for me, he tells her while yawning. Naruto started laughing, finding Shikamaru's dry humor very funny. Shikamaru felt a little proud he was making her smile and laugh. Naruto, who's your grandpa? You mentioned him in your story, Shikamaru asked. Oh god, that's right. I have to meet grandpa soon or he is going to send cat and dog out to find me, Naruto cried out in panic, jumping to her feet. Who's cat and dog? Shikamaru asked, getting to his feet at a slower pace than the blonde-haired girl. They're my older brother and sister, but also my guards, she tells him. You have guards? Wait, who exactly is your grandfather? He asked. Haha, your grandpa put them on me to keep me safe from the villagers, but today they had a mission so they couldn't pick me up. I think they're home now, and if they are, oh man, they're going to be so mad and worried about me, Naruto tells him, feeling panic take over her before she registered his last question. Oh, he is the third Hokage. Shikamaru staggered over, not expecting to get that answer. You got to be kidding me. Your grandfather is the third Hokage and people are still stupid enough to attack you. How stupid are those people? Naruto felt herself smiling again from his kind words. Well, I'm his adopted granddaughter, but I still love like he really was my grandfather, she tells him. Well, blood doesn't determine family if you ask me, besides it's kind of cool to be friends with the third Hokage's adopted granddaughter, Shikamaru tells her, scratching his cheek, looking up at the sky, pondering the thought of being her friend, hoping it won't become troublesome in the future. Naruto felt like the roof fell beneath her feet, looking like she was floating on cloud nine, possibly looking like an idiot to him the way she was grinning at him. Friends? She asked, feeling like she needed to hear it again to make it sure it was real and not a trick her ears were playing on her. Well, though we're friends now, right? Unless you don't want to be my friend? He asked, feeling maybe he was out of his league asking to be the Hokage's granddaughter friend. Naruko couldn't stop herself. She was just overcome with joy that she just launched herself, tackling Shikamaru into a huge hug that knocked them to the ground as she squeezed the life out of the poor guy. Shikamaru was caught off guard by Naruko tackling him that when he hit the ground he let out a soft pained groan. Hey, what's with the hugging and the tackling, he said with a tone of embarrassment with a light blush on his face. I never had a real friend before, so I'm happy, really happy, she says softly, feeling very happy as she snuggled into him. Shikamaru still felt embarrassed by being hugged by Naruko, but he was actually really happy he made her happy. Well, you do now, but could you get off me now? Naruko giggled happily as she got off him and helped him up, still smiling like a loon at having a real friend. Shikamaru just shook his head, finding her amusing as he takes her hand and pulls her towards the exit located on the roof. Where are you taking me? She asked. I'm taking you to your grandpa before he does send those bodyguards of yours and they catch me with you and think I kidnapped you and decided to attack me. Now that would be really troublesome, he tells her with a small lopsided smile on his face. You don't have to take me. I know how to get there by myself, she mumbled, trying to hide her blush from him. Why do I always blush when he smiles at me? I know, but I don't want you to get attacked again, and nobody would dare attack you if you're seen with a clan heir, he tells her. You're a clan heir. Which clan? She asked. The Nara clan, he says. That's so cool, you're so lucky, she said with her eyes lighting up with delight. How so? He questioned. Because you got some of the best books for medicine and healing jutsu, and you guys know how to use the shadow possession jutsu. To me that's way cooler than that stupid old Sharingan everyone talks about, she tells him. Just don't say that around my dad's best friend's daughter. She'll murder you if you say anything bad about an Uchiha, he tells her, giving her his lopsided smile. Why is that? She asked. Because she is madly in love with this boy in our class named Sasuke Uchiha, he tells her. Who? Right then Shikamaru felt like thanking the gods above for making a girl with a brain. Finally, a girl who is not in love with that arrogant prick, he cheered, catching Naruko off guard with his outburst. What was that for? She asked. Sorry, it's just that all the girls in school are in love with him, and I have no idea why, he tells her sheepishly. So this Sasuke guy has a bunch of fangirls, I'm guess, she stated. You got no idea, he said exasperatedly. Hearing that can almost make you feel sorry for the guy. I don't even know who he is and I feel bad for him, she said, having a concerned look on her face. Trust me, once you've met him you'll think he deserves it, he tells her, meaning every bit of it. Why would you say that? She asked, seeing the serious look on his face. Because he is an arrogant prick who thinks he is all that when he is not, he tells her. He also thinks everyone needs to do what he says all the time. It gets on my nerves. The troublesome prick, he grumbled. Oh come on, he couldn't be that bad, could he? She asked. Trust me, he is, but he is from the Uchiha clan and they all can be a bit arrogant, he stated. After the two new friends continued on their way to the Hokage Tower until they came across two people wearing a dog and cat mask standing in front of the tower, emitting a killing intent so power it would make anyone piss their pants in a 500-mile radius. Feeling the intent to kill from where he stood, Shikamaru admitted to himself he was definitely freaked out by his new friend's siblings. I'm guessing those guys would be your older siblings? He asked, sounding a little bit afraid of them. Naruko gave him a sheepish smile, scratching the back of her head, giving him a nervous chuckle. Ahaha, yep. That's my Nichan and Nei-san. As Naruko confirmed the two intimidating duo, as her older sibling said, duo approached them and towered over Shikamaru, giving a hard stare through their masks that made him shake in his shoes. Oh Kami, I'm going to die, Shikamaru thought, sweating bullets from the intense stares he was getting, especially the stares from Naruko's older brother. Hi Nichan, Nei-san, glad to see you're both home, Naruko said sweetly, hoping to lessen their stern glares on Shikamaru. Also, this is my new friend Shikamaru. He is really nice. I see, and just what were you doing that made you so late to your meeting with your grandfather, young lady? Dog demanded, leaning over Shikamaru, not liking the boy simply for the fact he was alone with his precious little sister. If he hurts her, I'm ripping him to pieces. I kind of got into another mob beating. Nothing too serious this time, just a head injury. But it's healed already, Naruko tells them casually, not wanting to make a big deal about it. Even the other three around her did find it to be a big deal. How can you say that so casually, like it's not big deal? Shikamaru inquired, not wanting his new friend to think it was okay for her to get beaten. Well, it's not really something to worry about. I mean, I'm a fast healer, so there never really any permanent damage, she said, feeling sheepish again from how much concern Shikamaru was showing her. Shikamaru didn't like that answer, so he decided to do something about it even if it was a drag to do. Well, it won't happen again as long as I'm around. From now on I'll escort you wherever you want to go, that way you won't be alone to get attacked. AWWWW, he is so sweet, Kat squealed in her bubbly voice, groping the poor boy into a hug, crushing him into her busted bust. Nay-san, let him go. You might scare him away with your hugs of doom, Naruko whined, not liking the fact her sister was stealing Shikamaru from her. Dog, finding the encounter amusing, decided it was time to end it. Cat, that's enough, let him down. It's time we saw your grandfather anyway. He has been worrying about you, he said, watching his partner let the boy go, snickering at the boy's red face as he turned and led the group into the tower. The four proceeded to walk up to Hokage's study room. Once gaining entrance to the room, they walked in to see him at his desk working on his mountainous stack of paperwork. Seriously, how can any normal human being be so cruel and make someone do all this paperwork every damn day? I'm telling you, they got to be some really evil bastards to do this, or they just enjoy this for the hell of it. I see you have found my granddaughter, Hiruzen says without lifting his head up from his paperwork. Yes, sir, we have her with us along with her new friend, Dog reported, knowing the Hokage would be surprised with the last detail. Surprised he was. At the mention of a friend, Hiruzen lifted his head from his paperwork to see Shikamaru standing next to Naruko. He seemed to be looking around the office. Feeling Hiruzen gaze on them, Naruko gently nudged him in his ribs to make him look up at her grandpa. Hello Hokage-sama, it's an honor to meet you, sir, Shikamaru stuttered out, feeling overwhelmed to be in his Hokage's presence. Hello, my boy. It warms my heart greatly to see my granddaughter has made a friend, Hiruzen said sincerely, giving Shikamaru his usual warm smile. Naruko, I'm glad you made a new friend, but you had me worried about you when you didn't show up on time, he tells her worriedly. Sorry, Grandpa, but I kind of ran into some trouble on my way here, she tells him, knowing he wasn't going to like the news she had to tell him. Trouble? What kind of trouble? He asked, losing his friendly aura at the mention of trouble. I kind of got into another mob beating, she tells him, say with her head bowed, not looking at him as she played with her shirt. Damn it, that is the 12th beating this month, he says under his breath, banging his hands on the desk, scatting the paperwork everywhere. Don't worry, Grandpa, I'm fine thanks to Shikamaru. He helped me after the beating and protected me on the way here, she tells him, hoping to calm him down. Hearing that did allow Hiruzen to calm down a little bit. Once he was calmed down, he gave Shikamaru a thankful smile. Thank you for helping my granddaughter, he tells him, gaining back some of his friendly aura. No problem, sir, it's very troublesome, but I told Naruko that I can be her escort from now on as a way of protecting her, Shikamaru said in a lazy voice. You really meant that, Shikamaru? Naruko asked him in disbelief, thinking he was joking about that. I know it'll be a drag, but I don't really mind it if it means keeping you safe, he tells her, knowing she needed to hear it again. Shikamaru hoped by spending more time with her she will be more open to believe in him and start to trusting in him. Hiruzen smiled, seeing the smile blossoming on his granddaughter's face, knowing she was becoming attached to the Nara boy. Then it settled. Shikamaru, from now on I'm entrusting you to be my granddaughter's escort when Cat and Dog cannot be with her. Yes, sir, Shikamaru said, accepting his new role somewhat proudly. With this new friendship born between a chance encounter, a great story was awaiting this unlikely duo in the future. But as for now, Naruko was just happy to have a friend. It has been a couple of months now since Naruko had met Shikamaru. In those few months they have become better friends, and have learned a lot about each other. Naruko learned that Shikamaru looks and acts like his father through his many stories since she has not officially met his parents. She also learned that he loves to watch clouds, play shogi, and take long naps. There was a time Shikamaru tried to teach her on several accounts how to play shogi, but the lessons he gave her just ended up hurting her head. Naruko was very good at remembering all the rules and strategies of the game. Over the few months her big brother and sister have started to really like Shikamaru because he kept his word of protecting her from the villagers, and he makes her very happy. Grandma Kid also seems to like him too because he spends time with Naruko and takes her places she usually can't go because she has no one to take her there. The only thing she disapproves of with Shikamaru is his lack of energy to do a lot of things, but she likes him all the more because he makes Naruko happy and makes her feel like a normal kid for once in her life. Right now Naruko and Shikamaru are laying down in a meadow watching the clouds in a comfortable silence, looking up into the bright blue sky. The two didn't say anything to each other, but in these moments they never did, but today Shikamaru decided to break that cycle to ask Naruko a question. Hey Blue Eyes, I was wondering, do you want to come over to my house tonight to meet my parents and to eat dinner and maybe even stay the night? He asked. Are you sure that's a good idea, Shika? I mean, won't your parents be mad to have me over? Won't they hate me like the other villagers? She asked him, feeling uncertain about the idea and afraid his parents will tell him to stay away from her. Shikamaru gave a small sigh under his breath. He knew Naruto would be afraid of his parents, thinking they would be just like the other villagers who have mistreated her. Blue Eyes, I promise you have nothing to worry about. My parents are nothing like the villagers, and besides they're the ones who wanted me to invite you over. Naruto looked surprised by that news. Really? Your parents want me over? She asked. Yeah. They were saying something about wanting to meet the person who has been getting me out of the house for the past few months, and said they're dying to meet you. To be honest, it sounds like a troublesome event, but I would really like for you to meet them, he tells her. Okay, but I have to ask Grandma and make sure it's okay with her first, she tells him, feeling excited about the meeting. Great, let us go see her now and get her permission, that way we can get your stuff ready afterwards, he said, getting up and offering her his hand to help her stand up. Taking his hand in her small ones, he brought her to her feet, but as she got up she tripped and fell straight on top of him. Their faces were almost touching with only an inch of space between their lips. Their faces turned bright shades of red out of total embarrassment. Naruto jumped off of him as fast as she could and turned her head away from him, trying to get the color of her face back to its normal color. Naruto snuck a glance at Shikamaru, still red in the face, to see he too was still red as well, looking up into the clouds to find his face. The silence between them drew on for a while until Shikamaru broke the silence. We should get going, he says to her without turning to face her as he began to walk away. Okay, she tells him, looking down at her feet as she followed after him. Making their way to the hospital where her grandmother worked, the duo was stuck in a very awkward silence. On the trip, the villagers did their usual routine of insulting and glaring at Naruto as they passed, but made no move to attack her because Shikamaru was by her side, still there to protect her even after their awkward encounter a few minutes ago. The duo finally made it to the hospital, where they asked the front desk lady if they could see her grandma. She told them that her grandma was in surgery, and that it would be a while before she was out. She then told them to wait for her in the waiting room. They walked over to the waiting room and found seats, still not talking to each other after their little encounter. The silence was killing Naruto because she was never one to be quiet for so long, so she decided to end it. Shikamaru, about earlier I wanted to say I'm sorry for falling on you, she tells him with her face tinted a light shade of pink. Don't worry about it. It wasn't your fault, so you don't have to apologize about it, he tells her, still not meeting her gaze. Naruto felt like she wanted to cry from the way Shikamaru was giving her the cold shoulder. Then why won't you talk to me or look at me, she asked him sorrowfully. Shikamaru glanced at her from the corner of his eye. He saw the hurt expression on her face and felt like a complete jerk for making her feel like that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to seem that way, it was just a troublesome situation that I didn't want to mess with it, he says, turning towards her, meeting her gaze at last. So you're not mad at me? She asked. Not at all, just a little embarrassed. I didn't mean to make you feel like I was mad at you, Blue Eyes, he confessed, scratching at his cheek. Naruto beamed a smile at him as she pulls him into a hug. I'm so glad. I thought you weren't going to be my friend anymore. Shikamaru was a little surprised by the sudden hug, but let it slide as he pulled her into a stronger hug. Yeah, like I ever stopped being your friend, he tells her sincerely, which only made her smile bigger. The two of them starting talking about what they were going to do at Shikamaru's house as they waited for her grandma to finish up her work. It took about 2 hours before her grandma was finished with the surgery and approached them. Hi kids, what can I do for you? Grandma Keat asked, giving them both a huge hug. Grandma, I was wondering if it was okay for me to stay at Shikamaru's house tonight, Naruto asked. Well, I see no problem with it as long as it was okay with Shikamaru's parents, that is, she tells them. Don't worry, Keat-sama, it was my parents' idea to invite her over tonight, Shikamaru tells her. Okay then, well, have fun tonight, dear, Keat tells Naruto, giving them both goodbye hugs before they left the hospital. Leaving the hospital, Naruto grabbed Shikamaru's hand, taking off to her and her grandmother's cabin. With Naruto's quick pace, the duo made it to her house in no time. Once they were inside, Naruto went to her room, grabbing her fox-shaped bag to put her night clothes with another outfit for tomorrow. Once she finished packing, she went back into the living room to get Shikamaru so they could leave, but found out he dozed off while she was getting her things. Really, Shika, I'm gone for maybe 3 minutes and you decide to take a nap. Geez man, you just too lazy to be a kid, she teased, poking at his cheeks hoping to get him up. Shikamaru scrunched up his nose, a little irritated at her poking, and gently swats at her hand. Blue Eyes, cut it out, I'm tired, he mumbles to her. Naruto just giggles at him as she sticks her tongue out at him playfully. Too bad, Shika. But we can go now, I'm finished packing, she tells him, showing him her fully packed sleeping bag. Fine, then we can go, he sighs, getting up to stretch out the knots in his back. Shikamaru then leads his blonde-haired friend to his family compound. Once there, Naruto gawked in amazement at the size of the place. Dang, Shika, your house is huge, she exclaimed excitedly as looked the compound up and down. If you think this is big, you should see the other clan's compounds, but I like it here nonetheless, he tells her. Come on, I have to introduce you to my parents. Shikamaru then leads her to the main compound where she admires the beautiful gardens within the facility and the peaceful ponds in the middle of the gardens. They soon reach the front of the house where Shikamaru and his parents stay. Mom, Dad, I'm home and my friend's grandma said she could stay, Shikamaru announced as they entered the house. That's wonderful, dear. I hope you two are hungry. I just got finished making dinner, came a female voice from another room. Shikamaru, bring her to the living room so we can meet her, said a man in a stoic voice. Naruto became a little nervous about finally coming face to face with Shikamaru's parents for the first time and was considering to leave now. Somehow sensing her doubt, Shikamaru grabbed her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze before leading her into the living room. Upon entering the living room, they saw an adult version of Shikamaru sitting down by the screen doors of the porch playing a game of shogi by himself. Shikamaru cleared his throat to gain his father's attention. Dad, this is my friend Naruto. Naruto, this is my dad Shikaku, the head of the Nara clan, he tells her, gesturing for her to say hello. Naruto looked a little shy and hid mostly behind Shikamaru, giving his father a small smile and wave. Hello, sir. Shikaki gave Naruto a blank stare, reading her posture, and decided to ease the girl's nerves, knowing she was worried about this meeting. He gave her a small smile, hoping to ease her fears. So you're the girl my boy has been talking about these past few months. I got to say, you must be really special to make my lazy-ass son want to get up every day and go outside, he teased, enjoying seeing how embarrassed they both got. Dad, stop embarrassing me in front of Blue Eyes, will ya? Man, you're just as troublesome as Mom sometimes, Shikamaru tells him with a little pink tinting his checks. Hey! Who are you calling troublesome, young man? Came the female voice. Surprised by the sudden shout, Naruto turned around to see a woman wearing a cooking apron looking at Shikamaru with an annoyed expression on her pretty face. She must be Shika's mom. She's really pretty. Shikamaru sighed, not wanting to argue with his mom. No one, Mom. Mom, this is my friend Naruto, and Naruto, this is my mom. Shikamaru's mom gave a startled gasp as she looked Naruto over. Oh goodness, Shikamaru, you never told me your friend would be. When Shikamaru's mom stopped talking, Naruto thought she was going to call her the demon brat or monster, but again was surprised when out of nowhere his mother tackled her into a bear hug. So cute! She screamed, crushing the startled blonde into a massive and loving bear hug. Naruto blinked in wonderment at the woman's compliment. I'm cute? Only my family ever told me that before, she thought happily. Shikamaru saw the happy smile on Naruto's face, and was happy she was getting used to his parents. Okay, Mom, that's enough, you might scare her away with all your hugging. Naruto shook head, not wanting to be let go yet. She liked being held by another woman beside her grandma and sister. It's fine, Shika, I don't mind, she tells him. Shikamaru gave her a small shrug, glad she was having fun. If you say so. Just don't blame me when she squeezes you to death, Blue Eyes, because I warned you, he tells her, tasking a seat across the shogi board from his father. Oh, how cute they have nicknames for each other. Don't you think that's adorable, dear? Commented Shikamaru's mom, cuddling Naruto's cheek. Yes, Yoshino, it is very cute, Shikaka said to please his wife as he focused on his game. Not only are you adorable, but you have such long and shiny hair, but why would you keep it in your face? It'll hide that pretty face of yours. Come here, dear, let me fix that for you, Yoshino says, taking Naruto to sit on the front porch, grabbing her brush as she went. Sitting Naruto down in front of her, she starts to brush the long blonde hair, ridding it of any tangles before putting it up into twin pigtails that flowed down past her shoulder blades. Then now everyone can see that beautiful face of yours. Boys, what do you guys think about her new hairstyle? Yoshino asked, turning to face her husband and son. It looks good, dear, Shikaka says, giving his wife an approving nod and Naruto a warm smile. Shikamaru looked up at Naruto, approving of her new look. I like it. It shows off your eyes more. You really think so, Shika? She asked with a little blush on her face. Most diffidently, he tells her while smiling his one-of-a-kind smile that's just for her. So cute! Yoshino screamed, crushing her into another hug as she cuddled her face again. Dear, shouldn't you be finishing dinner? Shikaka asked. Oh yes, of course. Now you two be nice to our guests while I get dinner finished, Yoshino says as she goes back into the kitchen to finish dinner. Feeling bored now that Yoshino wasn't there to cuddle her, she crawled over to the shoji broad to watch the two males play each other. So Naruto, tell me, do you plan on entering the academy someday? Shikaka asked. Yes sir, I plan on entering after my 7th birthday, she tells him. Good. Shikamaru is going to the academy after his 7th birthday too, Shikaka stated. Come to think of it, his birthday is this upcoming Saturday. Naruto looked a little surprised by that bit of information. You didn't tell me your birthday was coming up, she said, looking towards her pineapple-headed best friend. Must have slipped my mind. I think birthdays are too troublesome to deal with, Shikamaru tells her, moving one his pieces on the board. Wait, didn't he say you were already in the academy? Naruto asked. No, I said I went to school. It's like a beginner's guide to academy life, he tells her. Oh. So when do you officially start at the academy? Naruto asked, watching Shikaka make his move. Since my birthday is next Saturday, then I should start that following Monday. Aw man, it's going to be such a drag. You won't be there, and there won't be anyone there I know besides Sasuke and Ino, and they're both annoying, he tells her, feeling guilty about leaving her alone. That reminds me, I invited some of my friends to come over to the party, and they're going to bring their kids, so you can meet them before the semester starts. You might actually make some other friends besides Naruto, Shikaku informed. That sounds great, Shika, we might actually make some more friends for us to hang out with, Naruto said excitedly. Shikamaru looked doubtful about this plan. I don't know about that. You won't be at school with me, so what are you supposed to do all day without me? He asked. I'll go back to helping Grandpa out in the office until you get out of the academy to play with you, she tells him. Okay, that's fine and all, but what about the villagers? Won't they attack you like before? He asked, concerned about her well-being. Don't worry about me, Shika, I'll be fine. I escaped from them before I can do it again. Besides, if they do attack me, I'll heal really fast and then get them back by playing some of my pranks I've been working on them, so you won't have to worry, Naruto said, giving him a little smile to calm his fears. Shikamaru scowled, hating how Naruto always put herself down like she deserves to be treated the way she is. That's not okay, Blue Eyes. I don't like how those jerks treat you. No one has the right to treat you like you're not human. I swear everyone in this village is a complete idiot sometimes, he said with an angry frown on his face. Naruto felt warm inside by the way Shikamaru always stood up for her. Reaching over, she gave him a hug to show her thanks. Thank you for your concern, Shika. You're a really good friend, but I promise I'll be really careful so you won't have to worry about me. Don't forget I have siblings to watch over me, so no need to worry, and before you know it I'll be in the academy with you, she tells him with her heart-melting smile that was brighter than the sun. Shikamaru blushed again at being hugged by her, but once again let it slide as he pulled her into a stronger hug. Oh God, I'm already dreading the day. Naruto giggled and stuck her tongue out at him playfully manner, completely oblivious to the knowing looks on Shikaku and Yoshino's faces as they watched the adorable scene between them. Yoshino cleared her throat, getting the kids out of their moment. Okay guys, dinner's ready. I hope you don't mind fish, rice and miso soup for diner, Naruto. Not at all. It sounds delicious and it smells delicious too, Naruto tells her, walking into the dining room sitting next to Shikamaru. Thank you both for having me over diner, she said, practicing the good manners Iruka-sensei taught her. You're welcome, dear. Eat up, I made plenty for everyone to get 2 helpings if you like, Yoshino tells them as she sets the food on the table and settles down next to Shikaku. After the food was set and everyone's plate was fixed, they said grace. After saying the grace, they began to eat while carrying on some light conversations with each other. When dinner was over, Naruto helped Yoshino clear away the dishes and helped her clean them while Shikamaru and Shikaka played another game of shogi. When Yoshino and Naruto were done with the dishes, they went into the living room to watch Shikamaru and Shikaka play shogi. The game lasted for over 2 hours. Naruto was in slight shock at how long the game took, and if she was honest, she was lost after the first 5 minutes. How can you guys play that long without getting a headache? She asked, rubbing her head, hoping to relieve her own headache. Yoshino gave her an amused smile, while gently patting her head. I know, dear, I sometimes get a headache myself, but those two focus on one thing so they don't get headaches. You see, they focus on strategy, which makes it easier for them to play longer because they're coming up with new ways to outmaneuver each other, she explained. Naruto shook her head. I couldn't do that even if I tried. My head would hurt too much if I tried to do something like that, she said, making the 2 adults laugh, thinking she was joking. Shikamaru gave his parents a deadpan stare. She's not joking, you know. She's tried it and it horribly for her, he said, making Naruto laugh while scratching her head. Yoshino giggled again, finding Naruto and her son's antics funny. She stopped when she heard the grand clock chime. Looks like it's time for bed. Naruto, you can change in the bathroom. It's the third door on the right, and when you finish changing you can sleep in Shikamaru's room, which is 2 rooms down. Naruko nodded, taking in her directions before getting up to grab her bag. Thank you, Ms. Yoshino, she said before heading over to the bathroom to change into her pajamas. Once she finished changing into her orange nightgown that flowed down to her feet, she stepped out of the bathroom and approached Shikamaru's room. Walking into Shikamaru's room, she saw him already in his PJs as well. He was wearing black shorts and a comfy-looking green t-shirt with his hair down as well. Naruko giggles as she walks into the room. Nice pajamas, Shika. I also like your room, it's simple and plain just like you. Shikamaru eyed her pajamas, finding he liked her in a nightgown. You two blue eyes, and I know anything beside plain and simple would be too much of a drag to deal with. Naruko laughed, knowing that would be his answer. Giving the room another look around, she became a little confused at not finding a futon for her to sleep on. Shika, where am I supposed to sleep? Shikamaru gave her a blank stare, shocked she had asked such a ridiculous question like that. On the bed. Where else would you sleep? Naruko became more confused and showed by tilting her head to the side. Then where will you sleep if I'm taking up the bed? Shikamaru sighed, wishing Naruko wasn't he so difficult sometimes. Same place as you. The bed's big enough for the both us to sleep on, he tells her. Unless you want me to sleep on the floor. Naruko blushed a little out of embarrassment, knowing about her bad sleeping habits. It's not that, it's just that I tend to move a lot when I'm sleeping and I might accidentally push you out of the bed, she said, embarrassed while scratching the back of her head. Shikamaru gave her a small smirk, now getting why she was being difficult. No worries, blue eyes, I'll be fine. Now get in bed before my mom comes in here nagging at us for not going to sleep, he says, patting her side of the bed. Well, if you say so, Shika, just remember I warned you, she teased, climbing into the queen-sized bed, pulling the comfy covers over her petite frame. Shikamaru turned to her and gave her a tried smile. Good night, blue eyes. Naruko returned the smile, while letting out a small yawn. Good night, Shika. Thank you for having me over, I had fun and I really like meeting your parents, they were really nice, she tells him, giving him her best tired smile as her eyes closed. Shikamaru let another smile grace his tried face as he watched her fall asleep. Anytime, blue eyes. Sweet dreams, he said before the darkness no as sleep took over him. Early the next morning, the sun raised above the sleeping village bring forth its bright streams of light. One stream of light pierced through Shikamaru's window and right into his sleeping face. Damn sun. Why does it have to be so bright? I was having such a nice dream, Shikamaru thought, blinking up his dopey eyes as he tried to get up and stretch out his muscles. When he tried to get up, he found out he had some extra weight on his chest. Looking down his chest, he sees Naruko wrapped around his waist with her hair spread out around her. He looked at her face and she had a peaceful expression with her lips slightly parted with a little bit drool and soft breaths coming out of her mouth, and had her bangs in her face. While Blue Eyes looks really nice and pretty when she is sleeping, he thought, staring at Naruko, and admired how the sun shined on her hair, making her look like an angel with a golden halo on. The feelings of someone gaze on her caused Naruko to stir. Naruko opened her eyes and yawned and blinked her eyes in confusion because she couldn't remember where she was. Looking around for a moment, trying to remember where she was, still clutching what she believed was her pillow. Just then she remembered she stayed with Shikamaru and his parents last night, and she also thought it was weird that her pillow was rising and falling. Naruko then hears a cough from above her and looks up to see Shikamaru staring at her with flushed cheeks. Morning, Shika. How you sleep? Naruko asked, rubbing the sleet out one of her eyes while yawning. I slept okay. What about you? He asked, not meeting her gaze, embarrassed by how she was cuddling his stomach. I slept fine. I like this pillow you got, it's super soft. Where you get it from? She asked him, still cuddling with the pillow. You're not cuddling with a pillow, Blue Eyes, that's my stomach, he tells her, still flushed in the face. Naruko looks down and sees he was right and that she was indeed lying on his stomach with her arms around him still. She squeals and jumps off Shikamaru and lands on the floor. Shikamaru looks over the bed and sees Naruko on her head with her legs bent over her head. He bursts out laughing at the sight of her. This isn't funny, you jerk, now help me up, would ya? She demanded. The hell if it not, man, I wish I had a camera, this is too funny, he says through his laughter as he helped her off the floor. When she is back on her feet, she straightens out her nightgown before she punches him in the arm. Hey, what was that for? He asked, rubbing the spot she just punched. For laughing at me, she tells him, crossing her arms over her chest, pouting at him. Well, it was funny, and you would have laughed at me too if it happened to me, you know, he countered. Yeah, I guess you're right about that. Hey, let us go downstairs to see if your mom made breakfast, she suggested. Sure, come on, he says, leading the way to the dining room. Naruto and Shikamaru walked into the dining room where they saw Shikaku reading the newspaper and Yoshino making pancakes. Good morning, Ms. and Mr. Nara, Naruto greeted as she and Shikamaru walked into the dining room to take a seat at the table. Morning, you two. I'll have breakfast ready soon, so take a seat and I'll get your plates ready, Yoshino called out to them, flipping the pancakes she was cooking. Naruto and Shikamaru sit in the same spot they sat in last night and waited for their food. Shikamaru laid his head on the table and tried to go back to sleep. Shika, sit up, you lazy bum. It's rude to try and sleep at the dinner table, Naruto scolded, poking at his cheek to get him up. Quit nagging me, troublesome girl. I'm still sleepy, he complained in his usual bored and tried voice, giving out a loud yawn to prove his point. Oh, you want to see troublesome? You keep that up and my next master prank will be tested on you, Buster boy, Naruto warned, knowing that LL get his attention. Okay, I'm up, see, he tells her, lifting his head off of the table. How you do that? I usually have to threaten to take Shoji away for him to listen to me, Yoshino asked, walking into the room with the food. Naruto gave her a mischievous smile. Shika's afraid to be pranked by me, she declared, giggling a bit at the haunted look on Shikamaru's face. She doesn't kid around when she pranks a person. She either doses them with paint, sugar water, or sometimes if she's feeling evil she'll create this elaborate prank to get you with, he tells his parents as he shuddered at the last prank Naruto pulled on someone. That poor cat, I actually felt bad for the poor thing. It was her own fault for jumping into my ramen. You should know not to mess with my ramen because if you do you're going to pay, Naruto says evilly with a menacing gleam in her sky blue eyes. You like ramen? Shikaku asked, looking up from his paper. Is the sky blue? Naruto replies in a sarcastic voice. Who in their right mind wouldn't he like ramen it like it was sent from heaven itself? I'm telling you I would eat it all day if Irika-sensei would let me, but apparently I won't grow if I don't eat something beside ramen, she tells them, bitterly sounding hurt about not getting to eat ramen all day. Minato, Kushin as she is diffidently your daughter, Shikaku thought, amused by his new discovery. Shikaku let a small chuckle out. You sound like an old friend of mine, Naruto, he tells her, still chuckling. Really, who? She asked him with her mouth full. Sorry, don't know how to write something when someone talks with their mouths full, so I hope you know what I meant to say. No talking with your mouth full. Young ladies do not talk with food in their mouths, Yoshino scolded, even though she found it adorable. Naruto swallowed the food in her mouth. Sorry about that, Ms. Yoshino. Bad habit, she confessed with a sly fox-like grin on her face as she scratched the back of her head. Yep, diffidently your daughter, Shikaku thought with another chuckle. So what do you kids have planned for today? Yoshino asked. We're going to go to the park and later we're going to visit my grandpa, Naruto tells them. That sounds like fun. Just be careful, okay, Yoshino tells them. Don't worry, Mom, we will, Shikamaru tells her as she and Naruto picked up the dishes to wash them. Naruko-chan, you know you don't have to help me if you don't to, Yoshino tells her. I know, but I like helping with the chores. It feels normal to me, she tells her, giving her a smile, bringing her stack of dishes to the sink. Yoshino gave her a small smile as she too placed her dishes in the sink and began to wash them while Naruto dried and put them away, asking every once in a while where they went. Soon the two of them finished the dishes and Naruto headed to the bathroom to get ready for the day. She starts off by brushing her teeth, and then she brushes the tangles out of her long blonde hair. She puts her hair up in pigtails like Yoshino did last night, but leaves a piece of her bangs out to go over her left eye. She then puts her clothes on. She wears a light baby blue colored shirt and black shorts with the standard blue shinobi sandals her grandfather bought her. Naruto looked herself over in the mirror and saw her ever so present whisker marks on her tan cheeks, but even thought she could see them clearly now. She smiled brightly, happy with her appearance. When she was finished, she left the bathroom and went back to Shikamaru's room, seeing him and ready to go while laying on the bed staring out the window. You ready to go, Shika? She asked from his doorframe. Shikamaru glanced back at her, giving a small nod. Ready as I'll ever be, he said, walking over to her after he finished stretching. Naruto giggled at him and together they walked back into the living room to bid his parents goodbye before leaving. Together they walked to the park in silence, ignoring the villagers that were giving Naruto hateful glares when they walked by. Shikamaru gritted his teeth as he watched every adult they passed say something cruel about Naruto behind her back. I really hate how these jerks treat you, Blue Eyes, he said, growling underneath his breath. Just ignore them, Shika. By now I think I've developed an immunity to their hatred. It doesn't bother me anymore, Naruto tells him, faking a smile so he wouldn't worry about her. Shikamaru sighed angrily, hating when Naruto tried to hide her pain away. He wants her to open up to him, not close him out. Blue Eyes, no matter how strong you are, I know it bothers you, so please don't try and lie to me about how you feel, he says, looking into her eyes with a serious expression on his face. Naruko felt herself feeling that warm, happy sensation again as she gazed into Shikamaru's brown eyes, glad he was her friend. Alright Shika, I want to hide from you, but really there's nothing we can do if we can do about it, she tells him. Shikamaru gave her a pleased smile, glad she was starting to come around. I know, but I like to find out why they hate you so much. You've never done anything wrong to make them hate you, and if they keep glaring at you, I'm going to kick their freaking asses in a damn minute, he vows, glaring at the villagers with his best death glare, close to reaching his boiling point with these people. Naruko gave a heartfelt laugh at how irritated Shikamaru was getting. The lazy bum is actually going to do manual labor to defend me. I'm so touched, she teased, faking a sniffle, grinning at him. Shikamaru crossed his arm, looking slightly offended. Hey, I may be lazy, but that doesn't mean I'll put up with assholes picking on my friend, he tells her with a somewhat passionate voice. Naruko's grin turned soft as she grabbed his hand. Thank you, Shikamaru. These past few months have been the happiest times of my life, and it's thanks to you. I'm glad we're friends, she tells him, turning her grin into her biggest and brightest smile. Shikamaru flushed a little under that smile and gave her one of his own as he tightened his grip on her hand. No problem, he says, softly pulling her along to continue their way to the park. The duo finally made it to the park, only to find that a bunch of kids in a circle talking to each other while others were yelling. Hey Shika, want to go see what that's about? Naruko asked. I don't think so. It looks too troublesome for us to get involved with, Shikamaru said, only to be ignored as Naruko tugged over to the crowd. Come on lazy ass, let us go. It looks like it'll be fun, she said, giving him her fox-like grin. She tried to get them to the front, but it was no use because the crowd was too packed for them to squeeze through. Naruko ducked down since she was able to see through the gasps to see that two kids around Shikamaru's age in the center of the crowd. One boy had raven hair with cold onyx eyes and the other boy had light brown hair. The brown-haired boy was a little chubby and had red swirls on each of his cheeks, indicating he was from the Akimichi clan. Naruko wondered what the boys were doing to cause this many kids to crowd around them. Just then the raven-haired boy said something and got Naruko's full attention. So Fatso, are you going to apologize or not? The raven-haired boy demanded. For what? It was accident. I didn't mean to bump into you, the brown-haired boy said. You still need to apologize to me, Fatso, you touched me with your fat self, the raven-haired boy stated. Naruko's blood started to boil at how that jerk kept talking to the brown-haired boy. What right did that boy have to demand someone to apologize for an accident? This sort of reminded her of how the villagers treated her. That jackass is asking for a beating. Why won't someone take up for the big guy? Naruko thought as she clenched her fists together. Say you're sorry, Fatso, before I beat the fat off of you, said the raven-haired boy as he took a step closer to the chubby boy, ready to punch him in his rounded belly. The raven-haired boy was about to strike the boy when Naruko jumped in and blocked the attack by getting hit instead. The crowd was shocked that Naruko jumped in the middle of a fight that had nothing to do with her. The only one who wasn't shocked was Shikamaru. He was just mad that someone dared to lay a hand on Naruko. Hey jackass, what right do you have to pick on him? He said it was an accident, so leave him alone, Naruko growled, looking straight at the boy who punched her. The crowd gasped at Naruko's boldness. No one else ever talked to the raven boy like that and got away with it. Naruko couldn't see what was so great about this boy. To her, he was just another bully who needed to get his ass kicked. Who the hell are you to talk to me like that? The raven-haired boy growled, glaring furiously at her. I believe I'm talking to a jackass who doesn't know how to treat people and has a 50-foot pole stuck up his ass, Naruko replied, giving the boy one of her own glares. You better shut up. You have no idea who you're dealing with, Dobe, the raven-haired boy said through clenched teeth. Go ahead and try it, you stupid emo team, Naruko countered, giving him the bring it on pose. The boy roared and charged at Naruko with his fist drawn back, ready to swing at her, but Naruko saw that coming and dodged the attack. The boy kept swinging at her, but she kept dodging. The boy grew tired and started wobbling due to exhaustion. Hey, where'd all your smack talk you were spewing go? Don't tell me you're tried. I haven't even thrown a punch yet, Naruko said without a scratch on her. Shut the hell up and stand still already, shouted the pissed-off boy. Is the big badass bully frustrated? I'm sorry. Hey, maybe the next time you think you're better than someone you'll think twice about it, Naruko mocked, knowing she was getting under the boy's skin. The boy got so pissed he charged at her blindly and tried to hit her again, but Naruko just dodged to the left and the boy tripped and fell to the ground hard. The crowd of onlookers laughed at the boy except some of his fangirls who stared at the girl with hatred in their eyes. While Shikamaru stood to the side watching the fight, smirking proudly at how well Naruto was handling this situation. You're too blinded by your rage to concentrate on your moves that I can see right through them. Listen, you can't beat me and you know that, so you can keep trying to hit me, but you won't, so just walk away before you face any more humiliation, Naruto tells him, standing tall and proud with her arms crossed over her chest. How dare you hurt Sasuke-kun, you evil bitch! Screeched a banshee-like voice from inside the crowd. A pink-haired girl with a red hair bow in her hair with a giant forehead pushed her way to the front and glared at Naruto as she went to help Sasuke off of the ground. It's not Naruto's fault your precious Sasuke lost to her, so I suggest you leave her alone, Sakura, Shikamaru said, walking through the crowd to stand next to Naruto. Shika, you know these two? Naruto asked, pointing towards the down duo. Yeah, that's Sakura Hirano, one of Sasuke's millions of fangirls, and the douchebag you just humiliated is Sasuke Uchiha, Shikamaru tells her. So that's the brooding prick you told me about. I take back what I said before, he really is as bad as you said he was, she told him. Told you so, but it was funny to watch you put him in his place like that, he tells her. A small shuffle sounded behind them, getting their attention. Turning around, they saw the Akimichi boy standing behind them. Thank you for standing up for me, said the brown-haired boy with a blush on his face. No problem. It was my pleasure to knock that jerk down a peg or two, Naruto said, smiling at him. I'm Choji, by the way. It's nice to meet you, Choji said, pausing, hoping to get their names. Naruto, and it's nice to meet you too, Choji. This is my best friend Shikamaru, Naruto tells him, pointing to the lazy-looking boy. Yeah, nice to meet you. I think we've seen each other at school, Shikamaru tells him. Yeah, we have, but really thank you for sticking up for me. I'm sorry you got punched because of me, he says to Naruto. Hey, no problem, I didn't mind. It didn't even hurt, she proclaims. You know, you're so cool. You stood up to Sasuke, the coolest and most popular kid in school, Choji said, admiring the blonde-haired girl, making her blush. It was nothing, I just wanted him to learn not to pick on others. It's just not right, Naruto tells him. Would you guys mind if I hung out with you? Choji asked. Naruto smiled happily at the prospect of making a new friend. Nope, I don't mind at all, she says, giving him a sincere smile. Do you, Shika? Shikamaru saw how Naruto's face lit up and admitted he could never deny her anything when she looked that happy. Nah. It's cool with me. Yeah, that means you can come with me and Shika to visit my grandpa, Naruto said, excitedly taking off toward the Hokage Tower, leaving the males of the group behind. Damn, she's as troublesome as ever, Shikamaru muttered, following after her at his usual pace, though keeping his sharp eyes on her to make sure no one messed with her. So is she always that hyper? Choji asked, following Shikamaru. You have no idea. Sometimes it's a drag being around her, but you get used to it after a while, Shikamaru explained. Choji laughed at that. I like her. She's really nice. Many people don't stick up for strangers, but she did, and I think that's cool. I wonder if she would mind being my friend. He wondered. Don't worry, you already are, Shikamaru tells him. How do you know that? Choji asked him. She always takes her friends to visit her grandfather. I should know, she did the same thing with me when we became friends, Shikamaru tells him. Who is her grandfather? Choji asked. You'll find out when we get there, Shikamaru said, hiding the smirk on his face. The two boys finally caught up to the blonde-haired girl who waited for them at the front of the tower entrance. Man, you two are so slow. I could have already gone up to see Grandpa and be back by the time you guys got her, Naruto complained to them. We're not slow, you're just too fast, Blue Eyes, Shikamaru countered, poking her forehead affectionately. Whatever you say, Shika. Come on, we can't leave Grandpa waiting, Naruto said, walking into the Hokage Tower. Once inside, the trio passed by Cat and Dog, who were standing in the man hall waiting for their orders. Hi, Nei-chan, Oni-chan. What are you two doing? Naruto asked, hugging her siblings. Yugao smiled, picking Naruto up, hugging the girl tightly. We're waiting for our mission assignment. What about you guys, and who's your new friend? She asked. That's Choji. I just saved him from a bully, Naruto tells her. At the mention of a bully, Kakashi noticed a large fist print on Naruto's left cheek, which made him scowl under his mask. Is that who hurt you? He asked, going into his overprotective brother mood. Yeah, but it's fine. I taught him a lesson. And no, I didn't hit him, Naruto tells him before he could ask the question she knew he was about to ask her. Good girl, now go see your grandfather before he starts to worry about you, Kakashi said, petted her on the head before leaving with Yugao to begin their mission. Who were they? Asked Choji. My big brother and sister. They're also my guards that Grandpa put on me to keep me safe, Naruto tells him. Who is your grandfather? Choji asked. Don't worry, you're about to meet him, Naruto said, walking up the stairs to the third S office. Naruto knocked on the door and waited for her to be invited inside. When she heard her come in, she went inside the room, followed by Choji and Shikamaru. Naruto-chan, how are you, dear? Hiruzen asked, filling out another document, placing it on the complete pile. I'm fine, Grandpa. I just wanted you to meet my new friend Choji, Naruto said, happily pushing Choji in front of her for her grandfather to meet the boy. You have a new friend, that's spectacular, Naruto. That makes me very happy to hear that, Hiruzen said with a smile on his face. How did you meet your new friend? Naruto told him what happened between her and Sasuke. Hiruzen was very upset to hear that the boy hit his little Naruto-chan, but was very pleased to hear that Naruto stood up for the Akimichi boy. Well, I'm very pleased to hear you stood up for him, but please try not to get in trouble. I get enough complaints from the villagers about your little pranks, Hiruzen says with a smile on his face. I try my best, Grandpa, she tells him with her best smile in place. Well, how would you three about joining me for dinner tonight at my house? My oldest son is coming home, and I would like you all to meet him, Hiruzen tells them. Sure, but I have to ask my parents, Shikamaru tells him. I have to as well, sir, Choji remarked, still a little surprised to be in the presence of the third Hokage. Understood. You may also invite them as well. I hope to see you guys tonight, Hiruzen tells them. Bye, Blue Eyes, see you tonight, Shikamaru said, walking out the door, ruffling her hair as he left, smirking at her pout. Yes, see you tonight, Naruto, Choji said, walking out the office as well. Naruto waited until her friends were out of the office before turning to her grandfather. Grandpa, what are you planning? She asked, knowing that the old man was up to something. You'll see, little one, you'll see, he tells her with a sly grin he picked up from his granddaughter and ex-wife. The sun was setting over the quiet village of Konoha, which meant it was almost time for dinner at the third Hokage's house. The sun was just setting in the horizon when a blood-curdling cry of terror was heard throughout Konoha. The scream came from the third Hokage's mansion, and the source of the scream came from none other than Naruto Uzumaki. This blonde-haired 6-year-old stared in horror at her beloved grandparents because they were asking her to do the unthinkable of her. Her grandparents couldn't help the giggles that escaped them at their granddaughter's horrified reaction. Gr, Grandpa, you can't be serious about this. It's just not human, screamed the frightened girl, glaring at the object in her grandmother's hands. Of course I'm serious, Naruto-chan. Tonight I expect you to act and dress like a proper young lady, Hiruzen tells her, enjoying a lot more than he would. Dear Kami, I really am spending too much time with these two. There ain't no way in hell I'm wearing that thing. Shiko will absolutely have a field day with me if he sees me wearing that, Naruto whined, making a disgusted face at the outfit her grandmother was holding. Now Naruto, sweetheart, I think you're blowing this whole thing out of proportion. It's not that bad, Kid said, trying to reason with her stubborn granddaughter. Naruto gave her grandmother an "Are you serious?" look that screamed she was not happy. That's easy for you to say, you don't have to wear that abomination around your friends. I'm not wearing that thing and that's final, she declared, turning away from her grandparents, sticking to her decision. Hiruzen was becoming agitated with Naruto's stubbornness, and knew he had to play his trump card if he was to win this battle of wills. Naruto Uzumaki, if you do not go upstairs right this second and put that kimono on, then I'll have no other choice but to ban ramen from the village. At Hiruzen's threat, both Naruto and Kid gasped in horror and were left speechless. After a while, Naruto regained her composure and sent a nasty glare towards her grandfather. You wouldn't dare, Naruto said, emphasizing each word, never wavering in her glare, as she tried to call his bluff. Hiruzen countered with his own glare. Try me, he said, giving her the "you will do as I say or you can kiss your precious ramen goodbye" look. The staring contest between them lasted for 5 minutes until Naruto sighed in defeat, knowing she would not win this fight. So she had no other choice but to submit to her grandfather's wish or risk the loss of her beloved ramen. Okay, fine, you win, Grandpa. I'll wear the stupid kimono, Naruto said, sighing in defeat as she walked by, taking the kimono from her grandmother's hands. That's my good girl. Now go get ready, our guests should be here for dinner soon and I want you to look your very best, Hiruzen said victoriously, never once losing the smirk off his face as he watched Naruto go upstairs to get ready for dinner. That was a cruel thing you to do, but I condemned you on picking up some of my old skills of negotiating, Kid said, passing by him. I learned from the best, my dear, he said smugly. Keith smirked at the compliment from her ex-husband. And don't you ever forget it, she teased, headed up the stairs to assist her granddaughter if needed. Hiruzen smiled fondly after her, still gleaming with pride for actually winning an argument with his stubborn granddaughter. Maybe I'll be able to win future arguments, he thought, getting lost in his thoughts when a cough brought him back to reality. You know you only won because you played the ramen card, right? Came a stoic voice from outside the window, telling what the Hokage was thinking with a hopeful gleam in his eyes. Hiruzen sighed, glaring at the Umbu captain / Naruto's older brother for ruining his daydream. Yes, Kakashi, I'm aware of that, but it really doesn't change the fact I still beat her this time, he countered, inviting the silver-haired man inside. Did you really put this whole dinner together to force Naruto inside a kimono? You know how much she hates to wear girly clothes, Kakashi said, jumping inside the room from the windowsill. Hiruzen had a cunning smile on his face, turning away from Kakashi's analyzing gaze. I know, and that means my other surprise for her will not be happily welcomed either, he said mysteriously. Kakashi raised eyebrow at the mysterious aura around his leader. I don't like that look of yours, sir, it's kind of creepy. I also have a bad feeling this isn't going to end well for my little sister. Hiruzen decided to ignore Kakashi's paranoid questioning and change the subject. So Kakashi, how would you like to be addressed tonight around the others? He asked. I'll like to be addressed as dog still, sir. I don't want Naruto knowing my real name just yet, Kakashi tells him before putting on his Umbu mask. Very well. How were the evening patrols? Was there any trouble? Hiruzen asked, going into work mood. There were no reports of trouble on any of the borders. Our allies seem to be stable, as well as our trading partners. And the villagers are still a bunch of assholes around Naruto, Kakashi reported, growling at the end of his report. Hiruzen's eyes darkened a little at the ending of the report. I'm pleased with most of your report, but at least I can't change anything about the last part just yet. Some days I feel like I could kill Minato again for putting Naruto through this, but I know he had his reasons for doing it. Kakashi nodded in agreement. I know my sensei, and I know it was a very important cause to allow his child to become the QB's host. Before the conversation could continue, the doorbell was heard ringing throughout the house, alerting the occupants of the house to a new guest. Hiruzen walked over to open the door to reveal a tall man with spiky black hair with a beard smoking a cigarette. Hiruzen smiled warmly at his guest. Welcome home, Asuma, it's been a while, he said, gesturing for him to come in. Asuma returned the smile, giving his father a hug. It'd been a long time. How have you been, Oto-san? He asked, walking with his father into the foyer where Kakashi was standing reading from his little orange book. Yo, Kakashi, long time no see. Still into that smut, I see, he teased. Kakashi raised his hand in greeting, completely ignoring the other's man jab at him, continuing to read his precious book. I've been about the same since you left. Though I gained a few troubles from Naruto's constant pranking, but it's a heart-warming task when you see how proud she looks after a successful job, he admitted, glowing in happiness talking about Naruto. Asuma picked up on his father's happy mood and tried to match his smile. I'm guessing she's the little girl you talked about in your letters. Will I get to meet her tonight? He asked. Hiruzen gave him a warm chuckle. Yes, Naruto is the blonde menace I talked about, and you're not only meeting her, but her friends as well. Asuma cocked an eyebrow at that, but shrugged it off as he plopped down on the couch. Cool. Can't wait to meet them. Again the doorbell was heard, and Hiruzen once again went to answer the door. This time he was greeted by both Shikamaru and Choji and their parents. I welcome everyone to my home. Please follow me into the foyer while we wait for my granddaughter and her grandmother to finish getting ready, he invited, leading the two families into his family foyer. Hokage-sama, thank you very much for allowing me and my family to join you for dinner tonight. It's a real honor, sir, Choji's dad said. Hiruzen waved off the formal thanks. Choza, no need for formalities here. You're all my guests and I'm glad you all could make it, he tells him. It's a pleasure, sir. I wanted to meet this Naruto my son told me about. I want to thank her for standing up for my son against his bully, Choza said, smiling like a loon. Well, you shouldn't have to wait long. I'm sure they're almost ready by now, Hiruzen chimed, hearing footsteps coming down the stairs with familiar voices. How could you and Grandpa force me to wear this? I look like a clown. Naruto whined loudly, with her voice echoing into the foyer. Hearing Naruto's voice drew everyone's attention to the entrance waiting for her, and keyed to join them inside the room. Blue Eyes sounds upset. Wonder why? Probably something troublesome, Shikamaru thought, waiting for his blue-eyed friend to make her appearance. Oh, sweetheart, you're exaggerating. You look like an adorable little princess, Keith squealed excitedly, enjoying seeing Naruto dressed so cutely. Naruto looked horror-stricken. Oh, Cammy, that's worse than I thought. I have to change out of this before anyone can see me in this, especially Shika, cried the dramatic girl, heading back up the stairs only to be stopped by her grandmother. Oh no, you don't, young lady. Your grandfather went through a lot of trouble to get you this kimono, and you will make him very happy to see you wear it, Keith said, playing the guilt card on her, knowing it would work. Shikamaru raised an eyebrow hearing how panicked Naruko sounded about being seen. I knew this would be troublesome, but I have to admit I'm kind of curious to see her now. Hiruzen grew nervous at seeing the perplexed glances of his guest. Haha, please excuse Naruko. She is a little upset about her outfit for this evening, he informed them. Yeah, because you forced her into a kimono against her will, Kakashi muttered, though no one heard him. Naruko sighed in defeat, knowing she had no way out of this. Alright, Grandma. It's just for one night, so I guess I can make it. Though I will hate every second of it, she said, continuing down the stairs. Keith smiled in victory. Exactly, now come along, we've kept our guest waiting long enough, she said, hiding her devious smile. Reaching the bottom step, Naruko hid behind her grandmother as she walked into the room, wanting to keep herself from view. Everyone looked their way and found it amusing to see the usually trouble-making blue-eyed menace so bashful. Keith smiled down at Naruko, gently petting her head. It's all right, dear, no need to be shy, she said gently. Naruko blushed, hating herself so acting like a stupid little girl. Fine, she mumbled, gently stepping out from behind her grandma, still blushing as she fiddled with the sash of her kimono. Everyone was gaping at how beautiful Naruko looked. She was wearing a beautiful orange kimono that had a twin dragon pattern covering the bottom, with a deep blue sash tied nicely around her petite waist. Her hair was done up into a bun with her bangs covering her left eye. She had on light pink lipstick and eyeshadow. She was also wearing a sapphire necklace with matching earrings her grandfather got her. The sight of her had everyone dazed, and no one could take their eyes off of her, especially Shikamaru, who was having trouble swallowing the lump in his throat. Wow, Naruko looks beautiful, Shikamaru thought, still having trouble looking away from her. Naruko could feel everyone's eyes on her, and that made her blush darken. Can you guys stop staring at me? It's creeping me out. Shikamaru was finally able to find his voice and couldn't resist teasing his bashful friend. Not your usual choice of clothes there, blue eyes. Lose a bet or something? He teased, watching. It's Grandpa's fault. He threatened me into this abomination. You see, I told you guys Shika was going to pick on me, Naruko whined, pouting oh so cutely. Eehee. You look so adorable, Naruchan, Yoshino squealed, tackling Naruko into a bear hug, nearly squeezing the life out of her. Thank you, Naruko gasped out, finding it hard to breathe in the woman's tight embrace. Mom, release her, she can't breathe, Shikamaru commanded, seeing Naruko going blue in the face. Yoshino released her hug, watching the girl take in lungful breaths of air. Whoops. Sorry about that, dear. I can't control myself. When I see something cute, I have to hug it. Or in your case, squeeze it to death, thought every man in the room. Naruko, you look nice, Choji complimented, walking over to her with Shikamaru, who patted her back to help her regain her breathing. Naruko blushed at the compliment. Thanks, Choji. I'm glad you and your family could make it. Choji smiled at her. No problem. Oh, Naruko, I'd like you to meet my parents, he said, gesturing over to his smiling parents. Naruko smiled back at them. It's very nice to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Akimichi. Oh no, dear, it's very nice to meet you. I can't thank you enough for helping my son against that bully today. You have out sincere thanks, Choza tells her. It was no problem, sir. It was a pleasure of mine to teach that arrogant jackass a lesson, Naruko said, showing off her pearly whites with her foxy grin. Asuma chuckled, amused by Naruko's antic, understanding now why his father thought so fondly of the girl. Hearing the deep chuckle, Naruko looked up to see a man with spiky hair and a shaggy beard. Who are you? She asked, tilting her head at him. I'm Asuma Sarutobi, nice to meet you, Naruko. My father told me a lot about you, Asuma said, introducing himself, offering her his hand to shake. Naruko's eyes widened with recognition. Oh, so your uncle Asuma grandpa has been telling me a lot about you. It's very nice to meet you too, she said, shaking his hand. Well, I hope he hasn't been saying anything bad about me, Asuma joked. Not really, just that you smoke a lot and chase after pretty women, but other than that he has told me about you training with the 12 Fire Temple Guardians, and how you're a very hard worker, she replied, grinning at him. Asuma sent a glare at his father for calling him a skirt chaser when he was in a relationship with someone, but Hiruzen just looked on in amusement, ignoring the glare sent at him. So what has Grandpa told you about me? Naruko asked. That you're loud and mischievous, who causes him to have an extreme overload of paperwork because of people complaining about your sense of fun, he tells her, making the adults chuckle. You just got here, so you have no idea how troublesome Blue Eyes can get, but you'll learn in time, Shikamaru informed him with a yawn. Naruto pouted at Shikamaru not liking her pranks being classified as troublesome. That is so not true, Shika. My pranks are awesome and funny, and Grandpa's wrong, I'm not mischievous. I'm a loving and clever little girl who is sometimes hyper. Shikamaru, Hiruzen and Kakashi gave her blank stares. We beg to differ, they deadpan together. Kid gave the three men a quick glare before smiling at her granddaughter. Just ignore these sticks in the mud, Naruto. We all know you have a wonderful sense of life. Why should you get it from me? I still regret letting you raise her. She acts exactly like you in every way when you were a kid. I get over 50 complaints a day about some kind of prank Naruto pulled. And I'm usually her victim of choice, Hiruzen said, rubbing his temple to rid himself of his growing headache. Okay, maybe I get carried away sometimes, but it's all in good fun. Also, Grandma told me the best people to prank are those closest to you, Naruto cooed, smiling innocently at her grandfather. If that's the case, I would hate to be Irika when you're enrolled into the academy, Kakashi said, feeling bad for the unsuspecting brunette. Naruto had a very devilish grin on her face that had everybody shivering. Oh no. You would have hated being him yesterday, she said, giggling evilly. Shikamaru trembled, remembering the hell the poor man went through. Poor sensei. He really deserved that. What'd she do to him? Choji asked. Well, you see, what I had acquired a bucket filled with the rankest smelling fish guts, then with extreme caution placed said bucket on top Irika-sensei classroom door. Afterwards I lured in several ally cats to the academy. When Irika-sensei heard all the cats calling, he spilled the bucket onto himself and had all the cats chasing after him. Those cats chased around the village 3 times before they caught him, Naruto tells him, explaining out her master prank before giving into her restrained laughter. Everyone was gaping in surprise at the torture Naruto forced upon Irika and took a couple steps back, afraid to be her next victim, except Kid, who was crying anime tears of joy. Worst part about the aftermath is that he is terrified of cats now, which makes his job at the mission counter harder because of the crazy cat lady, Shikamaru tells them. Naruto gave a sheepish laugh at that. Haha, yeah, didn't he plan on that happening, she said, scratching the back of her neck. Asuma decided a change in subject was in order, so he asked another question. So Naruto, you said my father blackmailed you into this beautiful kimono. Care to elaborate how he did that? Naruto's face turned into a pout as she faced her grandpa, still mad at him. He said if I didn't wear this stupid thing, he would ban ramen from the village. You monster! Screamed the Akimichi family, standing guard with Naruto joining her side against their evil Hokage. Hiruzen was baffled by the sudden turn of event, thinking he was preparing for a battle. Well, you were being stubborn, I had no choice, he said, trying to defend himself. Naruto smirked proudly at having backup. See, I told you it wasn't nice to threaten ramen, she said smugly. Knowing he has lost this battle, Hiruzen decided it was best to change the subject before the argument really does lead to battle. I concede defeat, so why don't we all head to the dining room for dinner, he said, leading everyone to the dining room. Hiruzen sat at the head of the table, followed by Kakashi and Asuma sitting on his sides. The adults sat on Kakashi's side of the table, while the kids sat on Asuma's side. Once seated, Asuma decided to strike up another conversation with Naruto. So Naruto, what plans do you have for yourself once you start in the academy? He asked, taking a bite of his food. Naruto pondered the question as she took a bite of her meal. Well, right now Grandma is teaching me some things about medical ninjutsu and medicine. Does that mean you're planning on becoming a medical ninja like Kid-sama? He asked. Not exactly. My dream is to become the first female Hokage. I'm going to become the greatest Hokage ever, so everyone will stop treating like a nobody and finally be accepted by them, she said, smiling brightly, missing the looks of pity on everyone's face. That's an excellent dream, Naruto. I know you'll get it if you keep up that kind of spirit and determination. Just remember, being Hokage isn't going to be easy, he teased, petting her head affectionately. Naruto giggled at the affectionate petting, shaking his hand off. Yeah, I know it's going to be tough, but I can manage it. Believe it! She cheered. Yeah, the catchphrase appears again. 3. Hearing the girl's catchphrase makes all the adults laugh, seeing as it's the same one her grandmother passed down to her mother. Shikaku chuckled fondly. You raised her well, Kid-sama. She takes after you a lot. She makes me so proud. Sometimes it's like looking in a mirror of my youth, Kid said, crying anime tears. Oh Kami, she'll be the death of us all then, Hiruzen groaned, imaging Naruto in her teen years, making him shiver in dread. We're doomed. Naruto pouted, not liking her grandfather's lack of faith of her. Grandpa, you're overreacting. I'm not as bad as you make me out to be, she whined. Hiruzen gave her an who are you trying to convince look. Really now? Do I need to go get Irika and see what his opinion of you is? He asked. That poor man is going to have his hands full with trying to teach you and keep you under control, Kakashi commented, feeling bad for the poor Chunin. Oh Nichan, you worry too much. I'll be fine since Choji and Shikamaru will be there to help with my pranks and escapes, she said happily. What makes you believe I'm going to help you with your troublesome pranks? Shikamaru asked. Oh Shika, you know you'll help me, especially if my target is the emo team, Naruto stated confidently. Choji smiled. If you're pranking him, you have my full support. Shikamaru gave his own little smirk. That doesn't he sound too troublesome to me. Asuma liked the devious attitude of the three friends, but was a little lost. Who's the emo team? He asked. Sasuke Uchiha? Hiruzen, who was sitting back to the conversation, decided it was time for his announcement. Yes, about him. Naruto, there's something your grandmother and me needed to tell you. Naruto looked a little worried by the tone of his voice. Why do I have the feeling this is going to be something I'm not going to like? Well, the reason I asked everyone to dinner tonight was to discuss and figure out this Sasuke problem, he confessed. What else to discuss? The guy's a jerk who thinks he has the best thing to happen to the village, he huffed. Well, I figured you would have to get along eventually with one another, so I asked your grandmother if she could sign you up for his mother class for expiring young ladies, Hiruzen tells her. Naruto paled at the news. What do I have to do? She asked, dreading the answer. In her class you will learn proper manners for a girl along while taking dance and singing lessons, Keed informed, feeling bad for her granddaughter. You have got to be kidding me. Is that why you put me in this kimono, to get me ready for the hell I would have to endure? She cried, knowing she was going to hate the answer. Yep. There's also one more thing you're going to need to know is you're going to have to stay at his house for 8. Keed said the last part really fast, hoping Naruto didn't hear her exact words, but failed, cursing her granddaughter for having oversensitive ears. Crazy grandma, say what? She asked, feeling her left eye twitch uncomfortably. Keed gave a loud sigh, hating to do this to Naruto, but knew she needed to do this. You have to stay at the Uchiha estate for the week of the class. It's just so you get along better with Sasuke, she tells her. Shikamaru felt really uncomfortable with this arrangement. I don't mean to be rude, but are you crazy? There's no way Blue Eyes is going to survive a week with that troublesome guy. Choji was nodding in agreement with Shikamaru. Yeah, he could try and hurt Naruto for making a fool out of him, he said, worried about Naruto's well-being. That's why I asked you two here. I thought maybe you two could go stay with her, so she wouldn't have be there alone with him, Hiruzen said. If that's the case, then can I stay with them? Shikamaru asked, looking at his parents for their permission. It's fine with me, Shikaka stated. I'm fine with it too, agreed Yoshino. Shikamaru smiled gratefully at his parents. Thanks. Can I stay as well? Choji asked. Go ahead, son, I'm fine with it, Choza said, laughing good-heartedly. If it's okay with your father, then it's okay with me, said Choji's mom. Thank you, Choji said, smiling brightly at them. Naruto was beaming so happily she tackled both her friends into a huge hug. You two are the best friends a girl could ask for, she cheered happily, giving both boys a kiss on their cheeks. Shikamaru and Choji's cheeks burst into color, blushing madly at getting a kiss from Naruto. Troublesome girl, Shikamaru groaned, trying hard to regain his normal color and move out her vice grip. Oh, how adorable, Yoshino cooed, whipping out a camera from her purse, taking a picture of the three friends. Mom! Quit embarrassing me, Shikamaru whined, blushing again, making Naruto giggle at him. Sorry, can't help myself, she said, sheepishly cuddling her camera. Thanks again, you guys. Sorry you have to be stuck in a house with the team for a week, she said, feeling bad for her friends even though she was happy they would be with her. It's okay, Naruto, and maybe if we're lucky Sasuke might actually be nice to us, Choji said hopefully. That'd be a cold day in hell when that happens, or the day I'm willing to wear a skirt, Naruto said, looking absolutely disgusted with the idea of wearing a skirt. Now that's something I wouldn't mind seeing, Shikamaru thought. Shikamaru, it's time to go. Thank you again, Hokage-sama, for having us over, Shikaka said, thanking the Hiruzen. It was no problem. I enjoyed having everyone over for dinner, he says, smiling thankfully to his guest. Likewise, Hokage-sama. It was a pleasure to meet Choji's new friends, Choza said, shaking the Hokage's hand. After saying goodbye, Shikamaru and Choji left with their parents. Well, I think it's time for us to go home as well, Keed announced, getting ready to leave, not before giving Hiruzen a goodnight kiss on the cheek. Hiruzen smiled and walked her to the door, with Kakashi right behind them. Naruto giggled at her grandparents as she hopped down from the table. Okay, Grandma. Uncle Asuma, it was nice meeting you. Maybe we can hang out sometime, she said, giving him a hug goodnight. Likewise, my little Haim, he said, wrapping the little girl in a bear hug. Naruto giggled again. Nice nickname, Smokey. You too. I'll see you around, okay, he said, taking her over to Kid and Kakashi before watching the three of them leave with his father beside him. Tonight was very enjoyable. Did you enjoy yourself, Asuma? He asked. Asuma got a cigarette out of his pocket and lit it before answering. Yeah, it was a great dinner and I got to meet old friends and meet my future students, he said, taking a drag of his cigarette. Hiruzen gave a small chuckle. Almost right. You meet two of them. Naruto 1TB on your team. Ah, you mean I don't get trained, Haim? Asuma whined, wanting his new little Haim to be on his team. Afraid not. I promised Naruto to Kakashi when she graduated, he tells him. Asuma pouted a little more before blowing out a poof of smoke. Well, at least she'll have a great sensei. So, old man, did you enjoy yourself tonight? Hiruzen smiled warmly. Indeed I did. I never seen Naruto this happy before, and it made my heart swell that she can find small pieces of happiness instead of eternal sadness. She is a good kid, and someday the people of this village will see it too, Asuma declared, walking upstairs. So no worries, Oto-san, it'll work out for her in the end. Hiruzen pondered his sons for a while, wondering if he was right before smiling softly. I believe you might just be right, Asuma, he chuckled as he turned in for the night. Kid and Naruto are walking down the street heading towards the Uchiha estate. Naruto was a very pissed-off little girl at the moment. Want to know why? It would seem our little troublemaker was forced to wear another kimono to impress her caretakers for the week. Naruto was growling and softly cursing to herself as she walked with her grandmother. I hate every minute of this, I hope you know that. Naruto dear, I know you hate wearing kimonos or anything remotely girly, and I know you really hate the fact we're sending you to the Uchiha Manor, but you know you could have a nice time, Kid said in a spectacled voice, hoping to lighten her granddaughter's mood. Naruto gave her grandmother a weird look that said, are you serious? Kid deflated, knowing her attempt to lighten the mood was a total bust. Okay, you're right, but just try your best and be nice to Sasuke just for me and your grandfather's sake, please, she begged. Naruto sighed, knowing her grandmother was only doing this for her benefit. I'll try my hardest, Grandma, but I'm making no promises, she said sincerely. God, did I have to wear this thing? It's so uncomfortable, she complained, tugging on the kimono. Kid smiled, happy her granddaughter was going to try to behave before giggling at her pouting face. You just have to wear it to make a good first impression, then you can take it off. I got that part. The part one don't get is why it has to be pink, the girlish color ever, Naruto whined, disgusted with the color choice and design. Seriously, it has bunnies on it. Kid smiled sheepishly at her. Ahaha, sorry about that, dearie. This was Irika's way of getting you back for the cat prank you pulled on him. Naruto's left eye twitched before an ominous aura surrounded her. He'll pay for this, mark my words, he will pay, she said, darkly plotting her revenge with a disturbing smirk on her face. Kid shivered, only ever seeing that face on Kushina's when she was plotting something. Great, she's inherited her evil mind as well. I'm so proud, she thought gleefully while also feeling very sorry for Irika. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX important paperwork. Why do I feel like Naruto has another prank planned for me and I have this sudden urge to fear for my life? He asked to no one in particular, as he slowly hid under his desk to continue working. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. Try not to make it too bad. Remember to save your best material for when you start at the academy. Kid giggled, proud of her little troublemaker. Naruto put on her playful smirk as she giggled with her grandmother. No need to worry, Grandma, I have some of my best pranks saved up for the academy. Kid whipped away a small tear from her eye. I'm so proud of you, my little troublemaker. You've taken my place as the master of troublemaking. Naruto smiled, hugging her grandmother. Ah, Grandma, don't worry, you'll always be the best prankster and troublemaker to me. Kid smiled and hugged her back. Thank you, little one, but it would seem we've finally arrived, she pointed out, stopping in front of the Uchiha Estate's front gate. Naruto stared up at the Uchiha main entrance and felt a cold shiver run down her spine. Thusly I enter the first day to my week of hell, she muttered, following her grandmother to the front door. Kid knocked on the door and waited for someone to open it. A few seconds later the door was opened by Sasuke and an older-looking version of Sasuke. When Sasuke saw who was at the door, he glared at Naruto as she returned the glare back at him. Oh, it's you. I don't why a street rat like you wants to learn how to be a lady when you know you won't be able to pull it off, Sasuke said scornfully, glaring coldly at the blonde-haired girl that made him look like a fool the other day. I'm being forced to stay here this week against my will. So as long as you stay out of my way, I'll stay out of yours and we should get along just fine, Naruto said with a forced smile on her face, trying to somewhat act politely. That sounds perfect to me. You'll spend most of the week with my mom anyway, but then that leaves the fatso and lazy prick to bother me. The losers, he said, looking annoyed with this situation. Naruto dropped all her fake politeness as she grabbed Sasuke by his collar. Glaring harshly, she shoved her face into his, making sure they had eye contact before she spoke again. If you value your face or any part of your body, don't ever insult my friends like that again, you arrogant team, she hissed threateningly. Sasuke scowled angrily at her as he tried to rip her hands off his collar. Get your filthy hands off of me. I'll talk about anyone the way I want to if I feel like it, you stupid dope, he spat, trying to get out of Naruto's grasp. Kid knew the boy deserved a punch for insulting Shikamaru and Choji, but this was not the time or the place for that. Naruto, let him go right now, she demanded sternly. Naruto gritted her teeth, knowing her grandmother's tone meant she was serious. Reluctantly, she let him go by shoving him away from her. I'm sorry about my granddaughter's behavior, Itachi-kun, Kid said, apologizing to the older version of Sasuke as she placed her hand on Naruto's head, who was having a fierce, glaring match with Sasuke. Itachi gave her a small smile. Kid-sama, it's alright. My foolish little brother was kind of asking for it with his rude comments, so I apologize for his rudeness towards little Naruto-chan and her friends. Ni-sama, you're supposed to be on my side, not the Dobes, Sasuke whined, turning his glare from Naruto towards his older brother. Itachi gave his brother an impassive stare. Sorry, Sasuke, but I don't approve of your rude behavior. You were very mean to Naruto-chan and to our previous guests when they arrived, he said, scolding his little brother. Naruto perked up at the news of other guests. Are Shikamaru and Choji already here? She asked excitedly. Why, yes, they arrived here a little while ago, Itachi tells her, giving her a small smile in return. Kid saw this as her moment to say her goodbyes. Naruto dear, I'm heading over to the hospital now. Be a good girl for them and I'll see you Sunday, she said, giving Naruto a kiss on the head and a hug before leaving. Bye, Grandma. I love you, have a good day at work, Naruto said, waving goodbye to her grandmother. Itachi smiled at the loving moment between the grandmother and granddaughter. Naruto-chan, would you like to come inside now to put your things away? After we settle into one of the guest rooms we prepared for your arrival, we can head over to the front room where your friends and Ka-san are waiting. Thank you, Itachi-kun. I would like that very much, she tells him, following the eldest Uchiha brother into the household, gliding past Sasuke, not bothering to give him her attention as she walked inside. Itachi led Naruto down one of the many hallways located inside the manor, stopping outside one of the guest rooms they had prepared for the little girl. This is where you will be your room for the week, Naruto-chan, he tells her, placing her stuff inside the nice room before he walked back into the hall to give Naruto a small tour of the compound, so she would know where to go without getting lost. When Itachi finished giving his tour, he showed Naruto into the living room where she saw Shikamaru and Choji sitting on the couch talking to each other. The boys paused their conversation when their blonde-haired friend entered the room, both surprised to see her wearing a cute pink kimono with white bunnies etched into the silky fabric. Hey, Blue Eyes, Shikamaru said, grinning at Naruto, patting the spot between Choji and him, inviting her to sit down with them. Naruto grinned widely, happy to see both her friend were here as she sat between them. Hey guys. I'm so glad you came, she tells them. Nice to see you too. I like your new kimono, Naruto. You look really cute in it, Choji said, making his blonde-haired friend blush, which in turn made him laugh a little. Yes, right, Blue Eyes, you do look cut, but that's twice now I've seen you wearing a kimono. Don't tell me you're becoming a girly girl on me, Shikamaru teased, enjoying making her turn a darker shade of red. You wish, Naruto replied, punching Shikamaru in his arm as she tried to fight back the coloring in her face to go back to normal. Ow. You may be a girl, but you have the strength of a boy. What a drag, he mumbled, making his friend laugh at him. Of course I do. I'm not a fragile little girl who can't take care of herself, you know, Naruto giggled, glad the color in her face was back to normal. Then why don't protect yourself from the villagers, Shikamaru thought, giving her an inquisitive look before going back to his lazy and natural look. Well, little lady, it seems we'll need to bring out your gentler female side now, doesn't it? Asked a gentle and elegant voice. The owner of the elegant voice was a woman in her early 30s, you saw as she walked into the front room, followed by a man that resembled both Itachi and Sasuke. Hello there, Naruto-chan, I'm Mikoto Uchiha, your etiquette teacher. I'll be teaching you how young ladies are supposed to act in public over the week. I hope my lesson will not be too much for you and that you find them enjoyable, Mikoto said, sweetly smiling at the little girl, hoping to ease her tension away. Naruko gave Mikoto a small smile, liking how sweet she was. She reminded her of how her grandma is when she gets nervous. Thank you, Mikoto-san. Mikoto-san, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly am I going to learn this week? She asked, hoping the answer she received wasn't as bad as she thought it was going to be. Just some basic etiquette techniques. For example, today I'm going to teach you how to present yourself when you are making a formal greeting to an important guest. Mikoto said, seeing the perplexed look on her new student's face. Here, I'll demonstrate for you how it's done, then you can practice what I did. Does that sound okay for you? She offered, getting a nod of confirmation from her little pupil. Mikoto smiled at her before signaling her husband to walk over to the far corner of the room so the children could have a clear view of her. She then straightened out her spine, taking light and gentle steps toward her husband, maintaining a straight line until she was a few steps away from him before curtsying to him before speaking into a gentle and clear voice. Good evening, Mr. Uchiha. My name is Mikoto Uchiha. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mikoto recited loud enough for the children to hear, but still in a proper and elegant manner. She straightened back up, turning towards the trio, giving them a pleasant smile. See if you can do that, dear. Naruko looked uncertain about being able to pull that off, but knew she had to try. All right, she said, sliding off the couch to walk over to where Mikoto started from. Naruko straightened her spine out like Mikoto had done and tried to take the gentle steps she had taken, but found herself stumbling after the first couple of steps. Sasuke, who was watching her attempts, started chuckling when she started swaying side to side, getting a little frustrated at her horrible performance, and Sasuke, as chuckling Naruko began to growl and sent glare towards him, ready to tackle him to the ground and punch him in the face. Naruko, young ladies don't glare at people, and they especially don't growl at them. And Sasuke, I've taught you better than to laugh at others, Mikoto scolded the two, getting them to stop before going back to her gentle side. Try again, dear, and concentrate a little more on your footwork. Yes, ma'am, Naruko said, trying to concentrate on her walking again, but was finding it difficult to fully concentrate with the emo bastard snickering at her every attempt. Shikamaru and Choji felt bad for Naruko, knowing she was trying. They knew she hated she couldn't say anything to Sasuke, and knew Sasuke was enjoying her torture because Naruko really sucked at walking in a straight line. Naruko tried again, but this time ended tripping over her feet and crashed to the ground. Can I stop? I'm never going to get this, she whined. Honey, it takes practice to learn new things. Your balance is a little off, that's all. Here, maybe this will help, Mikoto said, helping Naruko back to her feet before placing a good-sized book on top of her head. Now try walking with this on your head. Naruko placed her hand on top of the book to keep it steady before straightening her back and taking a step forward. The book stayed on her head for a good 5 seconds before falling to the floor with a thump. Well, that was a complete fail, she mumbled, glaring at the book. Mikoto let out a small giggle, finding Naruko to be very entertaining. Remember, sweetie, practice makes perfect, so let us try it again, she says, placing the book back on top her head. Naruko held the book on her head before trying again, but ended up with the same results. This process went on for about 20 minutes straight with little progress made. Mikoto was being patient about this whole endeavor while Naruko was starting to get ticked off. Naruko has never been known to be a patient one, so when the book fell again off her head and hit her foot, she lost it. She picked the book up and gave a shriek of frustration, throwing the book as hard as she could out the window at the same time an old man was passing by. The book accidentally hit the old man in the head, rendering the poor old man unconscious. Naruko looked horrified by her accident, while the other occupants were a cross between borderline hysterics or pity. Oh man. I'm so sorry, sir, are you okay? Naruko cried, jumping out the window and quickly running over to the fallen man's side to find said old man laughing joyously. Oh great, I made him go senile, she wailed, feeling worse about hitting him. The old man laughed a little harder before calming his laughter to quiet chuckles, patting Naruko on the head. No worries, child. I'm not senile, well, not yet anyway. It's just been a long time since I got hit in the head with a book, he said humorously. Naruko felt a little relieved the old man was not mad at her or hurt until she saw his forehead bleeding where the book hit him. Oh no, you're bleeding. Here, let help you, she said, taking out a handkerchief to clean off the blood, seeing a small gash on his head. Naruko closed her eyes, placing her hands over the gash, and started concentrating on her hands to send chakra into them. Her hands began to glow a light green color, gaining the attention of everyone in the room as they watched Naruko heal the old man's wound. When the gash was completely gone, Naruko took her hands away to the cut was gone, which made her smile. How does your head feel, Aji-san? She asked, making sure there wasn't any internal damage too. The old man smiled at her, patting her head again. My head is just fine now, thanks to your help, child, he said, grinning at her. Naruko grinned, happy to hear that. Sorry for hitting you with the book, Aji-san. I kind of lost my temper, she said, sheepishly scratching the back of her head, making the old man grin wider, as he saw a different little girl behind her with red hair doing the same gesture. No need to apologize, child. If I had to take a guess, you were frustrated about not being able to walk in a straight line. Right. The old man said with a look of knowing in his eyes. How do you know that? She asked, gazing at him in wonder. Like I said before, it wasn't the first time someone hit me with a book. They had the same problem as you, but the only difference is this time I didn't provoke the attack like I did last time. I was just walking by at the wrong time is all. The old man says, smiling at Naruto. Naruto smiled back at him. You're very nice, Aji-san. I like you, she giggled, grinning at him. Why, thank you? I must say you remind me a lot of this student that used to come here when she was your age, the old man tells her. Yes, I say you're every bit like her if I do say so myself. Who was she? She asked. The same girl I told you about. The girl I told you about that hit me with a book when she couldn't walk in a straight line. Sadly, I can't remember her name after so many years. I just remember how she acted and what her personality used to be like. I also remember when she first arrived here for her first lesson. She couldn't stand people trying to turn her into a little lady. She kept asking how was being a lady going to help her become Hokage someday, the old man tells her. The girl wanted to be Hokage too? Naruto asked excitedly. Why yes, she said it was her dream and nothing anyone did would stop her from achieving her dream, the old man said. Wow, I wish I knew who this girl is. Maybe I could ask her tips on becoming Hokage considering we both share the same dream, Naruto said, getting very excited about someone sharing the same dream as her and at the possibility of meeting this woman. I wish you could, child, but the sad thing about it is she died a few years ago, the old man said sadly. That's horrible, I wish I could have met her, Aji-san, Naruto said, sad about not meeting this really cool Kuniochi someday. Don't be sad, child. I know she wouldn't like people being sad, especially a miniature her in the making, the old man said, brightening up once again, which made Naruto grin again. Makoto gave a small smile watching her father and Naruto talk, knowing her father saw a lot of Kushina in her. Naruto, I'm glad you're making a new friend, but you need to get back in here, practice your techniques, she called from inside the house. Coming, Makoto-san, Naruto called back with a smile. So your name is Naruto. What a lovely name for such a lovely little girl, the old man said. Thanks, Aji-san, I guess I'd better go before Makoto-san gives me a lecture on being late, Naruto teased, liking the Uchiha woman a lot. Don't mind my daughter Naruto, she's a good teacher, just very strong in mannerism, the old man tells her. I won at Aji-san. I really like Makoto-san, so I don't mind it, she tells him, grinning happily. Hey Aji-san, can you tell me your name? It's Shursui, but you can call me Aji-san, the old man, now known as Shursui, tells her, grinning back at her. Okay then. Well, see you around, Aji-san, Naruto said, running back inside the house through the window, leaving Shursui by himself. Naruto, you remind me so much of your mother, it's like looking in a mirror, only you has your father's hair and eyes, but boy did you gain every ounce of your mother's spirit. Kushina, if you're watching over her, I know you must be proud as well as you, Minato, and who would have thought I met your daughter the same I met mother, Shursui thought amusingly as he began walking through the flower meadow. I remembered walking by my wife's studio that day. I was going to see how she was faring with taking care of you and teaching you how to be a lady. When I got there, I saw you trying your hardest to keep that book on your head, but it kept falling off, and every time you tried it just kept coming off, and when I saw how mad you were getting and your face turning so red, I couldn't help but laugh at you and your little habanero face, he thought, walking off, chuckling quietly to himself as he remembered the rest of that event. Flashback. What the hell are laughing at, old man? Kushina demanded, with her young fiery red face ablaze that matched her fiery red hair as she glared at Shursui, who was leaned over the windowsill laughing. You, a two left-footed habanero-looking klutz, teased the younger-looking Shursui. Fuck you, old man! Kushina screamed, throwing a book at his head that caused Shursui to fly back and hit the ground, seeing stars. When he hit the ground, Kushina jumped out the window after him and started attacking and beating the living hell out of him. After she beat the crap out of him, did they realize how special a bond formed between them that day as they laughed at each other. End of flashback. After that day, a bond was formed between us, even if we did try and kill each other every other day. I hope I can form the same kind of bond between me and your daughter Kushina, Shursui thought happily. Makoto shook her head as Naruto came back into the room through the window and was about to scold her for her unladylike conduct, but seeing the smile on her face made her let it go just this one time. Okay Naruto, let us try this again, but this time let us not throw the book at a defenseless old man, she teased, smiling at her little student, who broke out into gleeful giggles, as did a few others inside the room. Naruto started doing better and was making good distance with her steps, but she still couldn't walk the required distance. Mikoto-san, am I doing something wrong? Naruko finally asked, wondering why she couldn't complete the walk. I honestly don't have a clue, dear. You're improving well, but you're still not finding a good center of balance, Mikoto tells her. Shikamaru, who has been watching Naruko practice this whole time, came up with a good idea. Mikoto-san, I suggest switching the book for a bowl of ramen, he tells her. Mikoto looked puzzled by this bizarre suggestion, but it seemed to capture Naruko's attention a bit. Good idea, Shikamaru. Naruko would never allow herself to waste a single drop of ramen, Choji said, catching on to his friend's plan. Hey, they're right, maybe I would get it if I used ramen instead, Naruko said, dying to try anything at this point to get this stupid walk done and over with, and on the bright side she'd get to eat ramen after she was done, which made her smile bigger. Well, it's worth a try, Mikoto said, going into her purse to take out some ryo. Itachi, could you go pick some up, please? She asked, handing him the money. Of course, Kao-chan. I'll be back shortly, Itachi said, preparing to leave. Oh, please get beef pork, Itachi-kun. That's my favorite kind. Thought I love all ramen there is, Naruko asked, breaking into a huge grin. Will do, Naruko-chan. Be back soon, Itachi called back, smiling at the grinning blonde before leaving to pick up the meal. About 15 minutes later, Itachi returned with the ramen and gave it to Naruko, who then placed the bowl on her head. She started wobbling a bit, which made the others nervous, thinking she was going to spill it, but it took her a few seconds to steady the bowl. Once she got it settled, did she start to walk the straight line again. This time, as she walked, she didn't stumble or sway and kept her head high and back straight, and the bowl didn't even wobble. Fantastic job, Naruko, you're doing great, keep it up, Mikoto encouraged, happy to see the sudden change in Naruko's balance and posture, giving the Naro boy a sideways glance to see the knowing smirk on his face when Naruko finally reached the point to stop in front of her husband. He must really have a strong connection with Naruko to know her this well, she thought amusingly. Naruko smiled as she finally came to the end of the line to where she could greet Fugaku and complete her etiquette lesson of the day. Good evening, Mr. Uchiha. My name is Naruko Uzumaki. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir, Naruko said, copying Mikoto's gentle and elegant tone while curtsying to Sasuke's father without having her ramen tip over. The pleasure is mine, Ms. Uzumaki, said Sasuke's dad as he kissed her hand, completing the greeting, making Naruko giggle. Excellent job, Naruko, you pulled the greeting off wonderfully. Thank you, Shikamaru-kun, for your brilliant idea, Mikoto said, clapping her hands together, enthusiastically proud of Naruko's hard work. Naruko grinned sheepishly. Thank you, Mikoto-san, and thanks Shika for giving us the idea of using ramen to balance me out, she giggled, watching her best friend wave off their thanks. Wasn't that hard to figure out. Knowing how troublesome you get over your ramen made it simple for me to come up with that idea, Shikamaru stated, giving out a tired yawn as he stretched out his back muscle from sitting too long. Mikoto laughed at Shikamaru's explanation before turning back to Naruko. Well, Naruko, you mastered your first lesson on greeting. Tomorrow we'll work on your singing lesson. You guys enjoy your supper and I'll see you all tomorrow, she tells them before exiting the room with her husband and Itachi. Wait, did she just say singing lesson? Naruko asked, not believing what she just heard. What does singing have to do with being a lady? Sasuke let out a small bout of laughter at the horrified look on Naruko's face before scoffing at her lack of intelligence. Don't you know what courses you're going to learn from my mom? He asked. No, I wasn't informed about them, she tells him. Sasuke had an evil grin on his face at this information, thinking he would enjoy the look on her face after this. Then let me be the one to tell you. Day 1 you learn how to perform a formal greeting, Day 2 you learn how to sing, Day 3 you learn how to dance properly, Day 4 you learn how to do flower arrangements, Day 5 you learn how to perform a tea ceremony, Day 6 you learn the difference between formal gowns you wear to certain events/dinners, and on Day 7 you put everything you've learned to the test in front of your friends and family. He explained, enjoying the look of distress on Naruko's face as she learned what she was in store for this week. Naruko had a horrid look on her face, completely dreading the week to continue in fear of becoming a complete girly girl. Even Shikamaru and Choji looked terrified. Can't wait to see how you do tomorrow, though, cause if it was anything like today I'm going to enjoy watching you make a fool of yourself, Sasuke said, walking out the living room to his room. Naruko looked to Shikamaru and Choji and said what all three of them were thinking at the exact moment. Well guys, it looks like we have entered the week of hell. I pray that we all survive, she said, getting nods from her friends as they sat at the table to enjoy their ramen before going to their rooms getting ready for tomorrow's torture. The Uchiha estate was eerily quiet. Nothing made a sound, just the peaceful sounds of undisturbed quiet, and I was enjoying every moment of this peaceful tranquility by snoozing on the front porch, but like all good things it has to come to an end. Just then Naruko and Choji decided to run outside. To me it looked like they were trying to escape something or someone. The two of them spotted me and ran towards me. Naruko decided to hide behind me while Choji dove into the bushes. I knew this was going to be a drag, but I had to ask them what they did. This is such a drag to ask, but what did you two do? I asked them. Naruko couldn't control her giggling as well as Choji, and that made me very suspicious of what they have done. We just pulled a prank on the emo bastard, Naruko said in between her giggles. Oh god, couldn't you guys have waited until after I had my nap? I snap at them. Oh come on Shikamaru, it was so much fun pulling a prank on that guy. Now I understand why Naruko does them all the time, Choji says to me. What did you two do to him? I asked them again as I pinched the end of my nose in annoyance. I didn't get my answer because at that moment, as if my words summoned him, Sasuke made his entrance. He looked pissed off and ready to commit mass murder. When I saw what Naruko did to him, I couldn't help but laugh at the jerk and at the appearance he was in. Hey, I might be lazy, but I do have a sense of humor, and when I know something is funny, then it has to be funny. Quit laughing at me and tell me where your friends are, so I can make them pay for this, the emo bastard demanded. I don't know where they are, and if I did I wouldn't sell my friends out to the likes of you, I tell him, which seemed to only anger him more. Not that I could tell or anything considering what Naruko and Choji did to him, causing me laugh at him again. Well, if you see them, tell them I'm looking for them and they're going to pay for this, he declared before stomping off to who knows where. Sure thing, princess, I called to his retreating form, enjoying seeing him twitch in annoyance at the name I gave him. Don't call me that, screamed the emo bastard as he rounded the corner. When I saw that the emo bastard was gone, I signaled to Naruko and Choji that he was gone and that they could come out. Naruko was laughing her head off and Choji was laying on the ground clutching his stomach because it must hurt to laugh as much as he was at the moment. After we all calmed down from laughing so much, I asked them how they pulled the prank off. He's a heavy sleeper, which made putting the dress on him all the easier, explained Naruko. Yeah, but who would have guessed Naruko over here knew how to put makeup on, said Choji. Hey, my grandma made me learn how to do that. It was against my better judgment, but knew it could come in handy one day, cried Naruko, fighting hard not to laugh again. I liked your comment, Shikamaru. I agree, he did look like a princess to me, chuckled Choji. Didn't he? I just loved that dress on him and his makeover. I think he looked adorable, I said, chuckling myself at Sasuke's appearance again. We all couldn't control our laughter anymore and busted out in laughter again, stronger than the first time, thinking about the cross-dressed Uchiha. So you guys are the one to turn my little brother into a girl, said a stoic voice from behind us. We looked behind us to see Itachi there with an annoying smirk on his face. Oh hi Itachi-kun, didn't he see you there, Naruko said in a sly, nervous voice, performing her usual normal feature of giving a sly grin while scratching the back of her head. I would bet since you were all laughing at the prank you pulled on my foolish little brother, Itachi said without a hint of anger in his voice, just amusement. You caught me. Guilty as charged for your brother's little makeover, confessed Naruko. Don't worry, I found the prank very funny, so you're safe with me, but for my brother can't say the same thing, he tells us, still smiling at us. Is something you need us for? I asked him. Oh yes, I came to get Naruko-chan for her next lesson with Ka-chan, Itachi told us. Oh, I don't want to sing, complained Naruko. Don't worry, Blue Eyes, I'm sure you're not that bad at singing, I say to reassure her. Thanks Shika, that gives me a lot reassurances, Naruko said sarcastically. Well, follow me, Itachi instructed us as he led us to the theater. We followed him down many hallways till we reached a giant building. We went inside and saw Mikoto-san sitting at a grand piano on this huge stage, and we saw Sasuke scowling in a chair near the front row of chairs. The story will now enter third person because I can't really do first person that well, so I hope you don't mind that I changed the point of view in the middle of the story. The small group then makes it to the front row of chairs. That's when Naruko broke off from the group and headed to the stage, passing by the scowling Uchiha after he got rid of his outfit. Itachi sat next to his brother while Shikamaru and Choji sat behind them as Naruko walked on stage. Okay Naruko, you ready for your next lesson? Asked Mikoto. I guess, Naruko tells her, sounding nervous. No need to be nervous, dear, we're just practicing some basic warm-up exercise right now. I'll play a few notes on the piano and all you have to do is sing it back to me, explained Mikoto. Okay, I can do that, said Naruko, relaxing a little bit. Okay, here's the set of notes, said Mikoto as she played the scale for Do-Re-Mi. Now sing that back to me, said Mikoto. This time when she played the scale, Naruko sang with her, catching the attention of her audience and teacher. Like that, Mikoto-san? Asked Naruko. Yes, that beautiful Naruko-chan. How do you know how to sing? Asked Mikoto. I don't know. Didn't he even know I could sing, to be honest, said Naruko. Okay, let us try this warm-up exercise, said Mikoto as she played a scale and started to sing with it. 1 2 3 4 5, 54,321, 154535251545321, 154535251545678, sang Mikoto. We do these warm-up exercises every day in my chorus class and they work wonders on our vocal cords. Now it's your turn, Naruko-chan, said Mikoto, replaying the scale. 1 2 3 4 5, 54,321, 154535251545321, 154535251545678, sang Naruko, hitting all the notes perfectly. Wow, Blue Eyes is good, whispered Shikamaru, not meaning for the others to hear him. Who would have thought she could, said Choji, just as shocked as Shikamaru. Don't be too impressed at just warm-up exercises, not actual singing, said Sasuke, the only one not impressed by Naruko's singing. Oh, you're just still mad at her for the prank she pulled on you, said Itachi. Sasuke just huffed and turned away from them, trying to block out Naruko's singing. Okay, fellas, I need you all to leave so I can work on the song Naruko going to perform Sunday, said Mikoto. You mean we can't practice the song? Asked Choji. Yep, it's going to be a surprise for everyone Sunday, so you have to leave for now, said Mikoto, shooing them out of the theater. Shikamaru looked back at Naruko, who looked nervous, so he gave her an encouraging smile, telling her it was going to be okay and that she would do fine. Naruko returned the smile before he left out, believing his unspoken encouragement. When the boys left, Naruko got ready to learn the next steps to her song, ready to impress everyone come Sunday. Classical music was playing in the air, and the ballroom looked beautiful. The kind of ballroom you see in all those fairy tales where a prince is dancing with his princess. Right now there was a prince dancing with his princess in that beautiful ballroom. The raven-haired prince was waltzing with his blonde-haired princess in their spotlight dance. The blonde couldn't help but smile at her raven prince and to feel safe and happy in his arms. When the song was coming to an end, the raven prince bent his princess down and stared lovingly into her big blue eyes before speaking. I love you, Naruko, whispered her raven-haired prince. I love you too, Shikamaru, whispered Naruko back as she closed her eyes when Shikamaru leaned forward ready to kiss her awaiting lips. Before the kiss was completed, a siren went off through the air, causing the scene to break apart. As the scene disappeared, the siren continued to play, jolting Naruko awake. She looked to her left to see her alarm clock blasting in her ears, telling her to wake up. Naruko groaned and took the alarm clock in her hands and threw the accursed clock at the wall, smashing it to pieces when it hit the wall. Why the hell did someone invent that thing? It's so annoying, and I was sleeping just fine before that thing ruined my happy dream, complained Naruko. What dream would that be, Blue Eyes? Asked Shikamaru, who was standing in her doorway yawning at her. Naruko looked at him and couldn't hide the blush forming on her cheeks as ducked under her cover, trying to hide from Shikamaru. Hey Blue Eyes, you okay? Asked Shikamaru. Yep, fine, couldn't be better, replied Naruko from under her cover, still blushing as her dream replays over in her head to her utter embarrassment. If you say so. I came to get you up before the alarm went off, but I guess I'm too late for that and I see you smashed your clock again, teased Shikamaru. Not funny, Shika, people should know not to set that thing, screamed Naruko, ripping the cover off her head to come face to face with Shikamaru, who was towering over her bed. Yeah, I'll tell the maid to not put another one in your room. Now get your bedhead self downstairs for breakfast, said Shikamaru as flicked Naruko's nose and exited her room, not seeing Naruko's scarlet red face. When Shikamaru left the room, Naruko grabbed her pillow and shoved it into her, screaming in it. What the hell is wrong with me? Dreaming about Shikamaru like that? He's just my friend, my best friend, nothing more. That dream didn't happen. I'm just being stupid and I need to get a grip and not worry about that stupid dream, thought Naruko, trying to get a grip on her raging emotions. Naruko got up and started getting ready for the day. She brushed her hair and then pitted into their twin pigtails, while her outfit was another spring kimono. The kimono was a light shade of green with a big yellow flower on the back. I really hate the fact I have to wear dresses this entire week. When it's over, it's back to shorts and shirts for me, commented Naruko, thinking out loud again. Hey Naruko, that color looks good on you, it matches Shikamaru's shirt color, commented Choji as Naruko walked into the dining room. Naruko looked at her kimono and then to Shikamaru's shirt to see Choji was right about them having the same color of green on, causing Naruko to blush again. Naruko walked past Shikamaru and sat by Choji, trying to calm her blush down before anybody noticed. Hey Blue Eyes, what's wrong? You look sick. Do you have a fever? You look red in the face, asked Shikamaru as he sat by her and putting his hand on Naruko's head, seeing she had a fever. I'm fine, just a little overheated from last night is all, said Naruko, thinking of lie to explain her red face. You are a bit on the warm side. You baka, if you got so hot last night you should have opened the window to cool off your room instead of suffocating in there. To be honest, it was a bit stuffy in there when I went to get you. Maybe tonight you should sleep by the window if that happens again, said Shikamaru, withdrawing his hand from Naruko's head. Sure, well thanks checking on me, I'll do better tonight, said Naruko, trying to get her breathing back in check. God, what's wrong with me? Shikamaru always checking on me like this, that what makes him such a good friend, so why am I acting like such a stupid girl? I mean, this all started because I had that stupid dream about him. Wait, that's it, I'm just embarrassed about that dream I had about him, that's it, that's what's wrong with me, it's just that stupid dream, not Shikamaru, thought Naruko, pleased with her conclusion that the dream is to blame for her ridiculous action around Shikamaru. Naruko, are you listening to me? Questioned Mikoto in a stern voice. What? Sorry Mikoto-sensei, I was lost in my thoughts, sorry. You were saying, apologized Naruko, bowing her head in embarrassment. I was saying, are you ready for today's dance lessoning, said Mikoto. Oh yes mama, I'm ready, said Naruko. Good, we can start practicing after breakfast is over, said Mikoto, going in the kitchen to start working on breakfast. I'll help you Mikoto-sensei, said Naruko, getting up and hurrying off to the kitchen after Mikoto, trying to get as far away from Shikamaru at the moment, not seeing the confused looks from Shikamaru and Choji. Looks like the blonde ditz doesn't he want to be around you two anymore, commented Sasuke with an arrogant smirk on his face. Oh shut up you brooding prick, you don't know what you're talking about, said Shikamaru. Oh then explain to me what it was that made her leave your side so fast, said Sasuke, still smirking. That's just Naruko, she likes helping people is all, defended Shikamaru. Yeah sure, believe what you want to believe, just look out, she might just get rid of you, said Sasuke, still smirking at them like the asshole he is. Whatever asshole, just leave her alone, said Shikamaru. Hey Shikamaru, I think Sasuke's right though, Naruko was acting weird just a little while ago, whispered Choji. I think it's just because she embarrassed about something. It just might be about having to dance today, and with her wearing kimonos. She hates wearing girly clothes, explained Shikamaru. You think it might because of my remark of how she looked in the kimono? Asked Choji. Possibly, but don't worry, she'll get over it soon enough, then she'll go back to being the same Naruko we both know, reassured Shikamaru. Okay, I believe you, said Choji. A few minutes later, Mikoto and Naruko returned to the dining room with everyone's breakfast. Dig in everyone, said Mikoto after everyone said the blessing. Breakfast went by quietly with little talking done, and soon it was over. Naruko and Mikoto cleared the table, taking the dishes to the kitchen to wash them. When the two women were done in the kitchen, they came back in the room to get the men to take them to the dance room to practice in. Okay Naruko, we'll practice the basic art of waltzing, instructed Mikoto. What's step 1? Asked Naruko. The first step is that formal greeting we worked on the first day you came to me, said Mikoto. Okay, who do I greet? Asked Naruko. Yes, we need you a partner, and I think the one of you who know how to waltz is Sasuke, so he will be your partner, said Mikoto. Oh, you have to be kidding me, said Naruko in disgust. Hey, I don't think I like it either, Dobe, said Sasuke. Quit calling me that, team! Shouted Naruko. Naruko, quit using such unladylike language this instant, and Sasuke, be nicer to her and help her out, scolded Mikoto. Fine, I'll dance with her, but does it have the waltz? Complained Sasuke. Yes, it does. Now get into positions for the dance to begin, commanded Mikoto. Fine. Come on, blonde, let's just get this over with, commanded Sasuke as he walked to the stage with Naruko following behind him. Naruko and Sasuke got on and faced each other on the opposite sides of the stage. Now greet each other like you're at gala occasion and you have just met each other, instructed Mikoto, playing the song Once Upon a December. Sasuke walks over to Naruko and bows to her, offering her his hand. Greetings, milady, would you care to dance? Asked Sasuke as the music begins to play. Naruko curtsies in front of him and takes his hand, trying not to gag. She replies, it would be my pleasure, sir. Sasuke leads her to the center stage as the song starts to play. Dancing bears. Painted wings. Things I almost remember. And a song someone sings. Once upon a December. Alright, do about your left hand on my shoulder and give me your right hand, instructed Sasuke. Like this? asked Naruko. Yes, that is it. Now follow my lead and don't make a fool of yourself, remarked Sasuke. Sorry, that's your job, not mine, commented Naruko, causing Sasuke to twitch in annoyance, bringing a smirk to her face. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses dance through a silver storm. Figures dancing gracefully. Across my memory. For a klutz, you're not so bad on your feet, commented Sasuke. Oh my, if I didn't know you better, I would say that was a compliment from you to me, said Naruko. And if it was, would it mean anything to you, my dear Naruko, whispered Sasuke. Naruko blushed at Sasuke's words as they continued to dance. What did he mean by that, and why am I blushing? Oh, this is bad, thought Naruko. Shikamaru, do you think Sasuke was right about Naruko not wanting to our friends anymore? Asked Choji. Of course not. Sasuke was just being a prick, said Shikamaru, glaring at Sasuke. But what if he was right, because it looks like Naruko is having fun up there, commented Choji. There's no way in hell Naruko is enjoying being up there with the prick. You're just imaging that, Choji, said Shikamaru. There is no way Naruko would enjoy dancing with that guy, right, thought Shikamaru. Far away. Long ago. Glowing dim as an ember. Things my heart used to know. Once upon a December. What is wrong with me? Why I'm enjoying dancing with Sasuke? I would wither it be Shikamaru than him, like in my dream, thought Naruko. What's wrong with her? She does know that Sasuke the biggest jerk in the village, thought Shikamaru. Jesus, why am I thinking about Shikamaru and that dream at a time like this, thought Naruko, blushing. Naruko looks over to Shikamaru and Choji and sees that Shikamaru is glaring at her. Why is he mad at me? Did I do something wrong? Did he figure out I had a dream about him, thought Naruko, frowning in worry at Shikamaru, thinking he's mad at her about her dream. She see me glaring at the prick, and now she frowning at me. What's wrong with her, and why is she taking up for the prick? Wait, does that mean she likes him now and that he was right about Naruko not wanting me and Choji as her friends anymore, thought Shikamaru. Someone holds me safe and warm. Horses prance through a silver storm. Figures dancing gracefully. Across my memory. Hey Dobe, pay attention, you're making us look bad. Try and keep up with me, will ya? Remarked Sasuke. Oh, that's making us look bad because you're not keeping up with me, replied Naruko. Oh, is that so? Then I guess I have to step my game up then, whispered Sasuke into Naruko's ear. What do you mean by that? Asked Naruko, nervous as to what he meant. Sasuke just smirked at her as he continued to dance with her. Far away long ago. Glowing dim as an ember. Things my heart used to know. Things it yearns to remember. And a song someone sings. Once upon a December. When the dance was ending, Sasuke twirled her into him and bent her down. Oh my god, this is how the dream ended, but instead of it being Shikamaru, it's Sasuke, thought Naruko. What the hell is planning, thought Shikamaru. Sasuke brought Naruko back up and leaned into her and placed a kiss on her cheek before stepping away from her, leaving her in complete shock. It was a pleasure to dance with you, milady. Hope we can dance again real soon, said Sasuke, walking off stage and out of the ballroom. Excellent job today, Naruko, you did beautifully. That wraps everything up for today, so you are free for the rest of the day, said Mikoto before leaving as well. When Mikoto left, Shikamaru and Choji joined Naruko on stage. Choji looked confused about what happened while Shikamaru looked mad as hell about the situation. Naruko, what the hell is wrong with you? Shouted Shikamaru. Hearing Shikamaru shout at her made Naruko snap out of her dazed stupor to stare at him in shock. Nothing's wrong with me, stated Naruko. Something obviously wrong with you, or you would have knocked that guy's teeth down his throat for kissing you, or unless you wanted him to kiss you, accused Shikamaru. What the hell that's supposed to mean? Demanded Naruko, getting mad at Shikamaru. Oh, don't play dumb with me. I saw the way you were all happy and stuff up there dancing with him, so it really shouldn't surprise me you wanted him to kiss you, said Shikamaru, getting madder and madder every second. I was not enjoying dancing with Sasuke, and there ain't no way in this whole wide world would I ever want him to kiss me, stated Naruko, feeling hurt that Shikamaru would think of her like that. Yeah, I bet not. You're just like all those other stupid girls who follow Sasuke like he's the greatest thing in the village. I bet you just can't wait to replace me and Choji with him as your friend, right? Said Shikamaru, glaring at her. Shikamaru's last comment hit Naruko to her core and made tears spring to her eyes, but she refused to cry in front of them. Shikamaru, seeing this, regretted saying that to her because it looked like she was about to cry. You are such a jerk, Shikamaru! Screamed Naruto, running away from them. Wait, Naruto, I didn't mean to, started Shikamaru, but Naruto ran away before he could finish. Shikamaru, what is your problem? You had no right to say any of that stuff to Naruto, screamed Choji. You're right, I didn't, but I don't know what came over me. Seeing Sasuke kiss Naruto caused something in me to snap, said Shikamaru. Is it because you were jealous of Sasuke trying to take Naruto away from us? Asked Choji. I guess that's it. I'm so stupid I got mad at the wrong person. I have to find her and apologize to her and hope she forgives me, said Shikamaru. I'll say. You really hurt her feelings, Shikamaru. You need to make this right before you lose Naruto as a friend, said Choji. You're right, I'm going to go find her, said Shikamaru, leaving the ballroom and hunting down Naruto. To where Naruto is. Naruto is sitting in a tree over a koi pound found in the Uchiha estate. Naruto stares into the koi pound, throwing rocks into it. Stupid Shikamaru thinks he knows everything when he doesn't, mumbled Naruto as she threw another rock into the pound, whipping at her eyes, trying to keep from crying that she didn't hear someone climbing up the tree she was in. Shikamaru sa no good jerk face, said Naruto, throwing another rock in the pound. Yes, he is, and he is sorry for being one, said the voice of the person who sat on the tree branch next to her. Naruto looked to her left and saw Shikamaru sitting there at a good distance away from her. Probably scared Naruto would damage something very important to him. She looked at him and then frowned at him, and then looked back down at the koi pound. You know it's a pain trying to figure out where you go when you're mad at me, he said, trying to start a conversation with her, but failed because she just sat there throwing another rock into the pound. Shikamaru sighed, figuring she was giving him the silent treatment which he deserved it. Look, Naruto, I'm sorry for how I treated you in the ballroom. I wasn't mad at you, I was mad at Sasuke, apologized Shikamaru. Then why did you yell at me? You've never yelled at me, said Naruto, still staring at the pound. I got mad at Sasuke for kissing you, and I got jealous because I got scared you would fall for him like everyone else, said Shikamaru. Is that why you said I was like every other stupid girl in the village who liked him, said Naruto. Yeah, and that was uncalled for on every level, as were most of the things I said to you, said Shikamaru. Yeah, they were, especially the one about me going to replace you and Choji with Sasuke. Where did that come from anyway, said Naruto, finally looking at Shikamaru. From Sasuke this morning. When you were avoiding me and Choji, he said you might get rid of us as your friends, and I was afraid he was right, said Shikamaru. Oh no, I wasn't avoiding you and Choji this morning, I was trying to hide my embarrassment from you guys, explained Naruto. Embarrassment of what? The fact you got overheated last night? Asked Shikamaru. Naruto blushed and shook her head. No. I didn't get overheated last night, I just said that to hide the fact I was blushing from everybody, said Naruto. Why would you do that? Asked Shikamaru. I kept replaying the dream I had through my head this morning, and it was so embarrassing, and I didn't want you to know about it, said Naruto. What was it about? I promised not to laugh at you, said Shikamaru. I was dancing with you in my dream, and when we finished dancing you started, Naruto, but she couldn't finish telling him. And I what? Asked Shikamaru. And you were about to kiss me, whispered Naruto. Shikamaru started blushing too and turned to face the koi pound like Naruto. You see, it was too embarrassing, and you didn't help none with being so close to me this morning, but I wasn't going to get rid of my friends, and I can't believe you actually believed the team, stated Naruto. Yes, very bad judgment call on my part, and I'm sorry for hurting your feelings like I did. Great, now I feel even more like a jackass for all the stuff I said to you, said Shikamaru. Well, you should be, but it's okay because all is forgiven and we're still best friends, said Naruto, smiling at him. You're too nice to me, Blue Eyes, said Shikamaru. Don't say that, I'm just glad we're friends, and let's make a promise that no matter what happens we'll always be friends, said Naruto, sticking out her pinky finger for him to take. It's a promise, said Shikamaru. Good, now that let's go find Choji, we have to get the team back for trying to ruin our friendship and for kissing me, said Naruto, jumping down to the ground. Right behind you, Blue Eyes, said Shikamaru as he jumped down after her. The two friends then went to find their other friend to work on a prank for Sasuke to teach him not to mess people. The night air was crisp and cool, the kind of night that had everyone in their beds asleep, having peaceful dreams, all except for one individual, that is. The figure sneaking in the shadow at this time of night was making their way to a closed-off bedroom door inside the Uchiha estate. The figure gently opened the door to see their target sound asleep in bed, not knowing of the danger they were in. The figure made its way around the room, covering the place with hidden traps and triggers ready to ensure the target would be caught in the figure's trap. Once finished with the trap, it left the room and closed the door behind itself before leaving. Chuckling to itself, the figure smirked at the trap it had laid out for their victim. "Hope you enjoy your morning surprise, team," spoke the figure before going to its room to wait for morning to come. When morning came, the figure from last night woke with a huge smile on their face, thinking of how today's event will happen. The figure got out of bed and got ready for the day by putting on their outfit of the day. When the figure was done getting dressed, it made its way to another bedroom down the hall. The figure went inside to see two boys asleep on the floor. One boy had black hair, and the other one had brown hair. The figure knelt beside the boys, trying to wake them up by shaking them awake. "Hey Shika, Cho, wake up. If you don't, you're going to miss the prank I'm pulling on the team," said the figure. "Blue eyes, leave me alone and let me sleep," complained Shikamaru. "Oh come on Shika, I got this really great prank put up for the emo team, and you can't get up to see it," pouted Naruto. "That's right, I'm tried and I want to sleep. Have Choji go and watch it without me," stated Shikamaru, pulling the blanket over his head, trying to go back to sleep. "Oh fine. Come on, Cho will go and watch it, and you can tell Mr. Lazy Bum what happens afterwards," said Naruto, walking out of the room with Choji. "Hey Naruto, can you tell me what you did to him today?" asked Choji. "You have to wait and see, Cho," said Naruto, smiling at the pouting Choji. "Oh no, fair Naru, I want to know," complained Choji. Naruto giggles at Choji and just keep walking. "Don't worry Cho, you'll see soon enough," promised Naruto, stopping outside Sasuke's room. Naruto cracked open Sasuke's door to see inside the room and sees Sasuke starting to wake up. Naruto turned around to face Choji and started signaling to him that the fun was about to start. 3, 2, 1. "Show time," said Naruto, turning back inside to watch her prank in motion. Sasuke's alarm goes off, so he rolled over to shut it off, but as he rolled over he triggered the wire Naruto had placed on him. The line led to a bucket hanging over him, turning it upside down and pouring ice-cold water all over Sasuke, waking him up insistently. The bucket fell on his head, making him jump out of bed. He stumbled around the room trying to get the bucket off his head until he stepped on a carefully placed roller skate. The roller skate rolls from under him, making him crash to the floor and onto another trip wire, causing another bucket to fall on him, spilling glue all over him. Sasuke got off the floor and started walking around his room, still trying to get the bucket off his head, all the while cursing a certain blonde-hair girl for doing this to him, until he tripped the final wire to complete the prank. This time Sasuke was covered with feathers from head to toe. After Sasuke finally got the bucket off his head, it revealed a red rubber glove on his head, with him scowling at the laughing Naruto and Choji. Sasuke stomped over to the laughing pair with a dark aura of killing intent surrounding him. "You two are so dead," declared Sasuke, ready to kill them. "Oh, I wouldn't do that, team. It won't end well for you," stated Naruto. "Why not? I'm sure I could get away with murdering you too," said Sasuke. "The reason why it wouldn't end well for you, team, is because if you did, then everyone in the village will see all the humiliating pranks I've pulled on you," stated Naruto, showing Sasuke her video camera with her pranks on it. "Are you blackmailing me?" asked Sasuke. "I wouldn't call it blackmailing, more like a friendly warning," said Naruto. "Oh, how that?" asked Sasuke. "Well, imagine what the village reaction to this video would be. I mean, they see the Uchiha heir getting pranked by the village loser. I say they LL start shunning the Uchiha name and laughing at you. Not only that, think of what your fangirls would do. They see their precious Sasuke being shunned and mocked by the village, and they do whatever it takes to make you feel better by being around you 24/7, said Naruto, smiling at her plan. Sasuke's eyes twitched at the mention of his evil fangirl army, and couldn't he think of anything worse to happen to him than being surrounded by his fangirls 24/7. "Okay, fine, I do what you want," said Sasuke. "Okay then. The terms of this deal are that you have to be nice to my friends and me for the rest of the week, and you have to leave us alone," stated Naruto. "Fine, I can do that," said Sasuke. "Oh yeah, before I forget, there's one more thing you have to do before you have my total guarantee not to show this video to the village," said Naruto, smiling devilishly at Sasuke. "What is that?" asked Sasuke. "You have to apologize to Choji for all those mean things you said to him on Saturday," stated Naruto. "No deal. An Uchiha never apologizes, especially to nobody else like you two," stated Sasuke. "I guess I have no choice but to add some more pranks to the video before showing it to the village to make you see my point. Come on, Choji, let us go think of more humiliating pranks for the team," said Naruto, turning away from Sasuke, about to walk away until Sasuke grabbed her arm to stop her from walking away. "Yes, team, anything you like to say?" asked Naruto, raising her eyebrow questioningly at Sasuke. "Fine, I'll apologize to him. I'm sorry for calling you fatso in front of everybody, and I'm sorry for picking a fight with you," apologized Sasuke to Choji. Good boy. Now was that really so hard to say to him? Anyway, remember you have to be nice to my friends and me for the rest of the week and leave us alone or all bets are off and this entire village gets a copy of this video, stated Naruto. Yes, I understand the agreements, said Sasuke. Good. Come on Choji, let's go. So chicken but here can take a shower, said Naruto giggling at Sasuke before walking down the hall with Choji. I swear that girl is going to pay for this someday, vowed Sasuke as he stalked off to his bathroom to get cleaned up. Naruto and Choji were close to Shikamaru's room when Naruto remembered something. Oh crap, I forgot to tell Sasuke to be careful when he takes his shower, said Naruto. Why is that? Asked Choji. Well, I didn't think he agreed to my proposition so easily, so I kind of set up a backup plan to make him agree with us, said Naruto while doing her nervous smile and scratching head thing. What's plan B? Asked Choji, not liking the smile that formed on Naruto's face because that smile meant trouble was coming. Oh, you'll see in a few minutes, said Naruto walking into Shikamaru's room and plopping down next to the lazy genius who was finally awake. How the prank go this time, Blue Eyes? Asked Shikamaru yawning as he asked. Not bad. I got Sasuke to submit to my demands on the grounds of leaving us alone, and I got him to apologize to Choji for what he said to him, said Naruto smiling at the job she pulled. What you do to him this time to make him do that? Asked Shikamaru. It was so funny, Shikamaru. Naruto planted all these trip wires in his room and every time he tripped one something fell on him. Oh, you have to see it. Naruto recorded it, stated Choji giving Shikamaru the camera. The three friends watched all the pranks Naruto's pulled on Sasuke, starting with her first prank about putting him in a pink frilly dress with makeup on. The one they pulled yesterday was Sasuke being catapulted into a pig pen and being smothered by the pigs in the pen. Now today's prank of Sasuke being turned into a chicken. The three friends all laughed at Sasuke's misfortune. I still can't believe you've recorded them all, but I'm so glad you did because they are so funny, laughed Choji from on the ground. I love the part when we catapulted the jerk into the pig pen, commented Shikamaru. Yeah, he deserved to be with his own kind, stated the chuckling Naruto. But hey, if you like these you're going to love the prank I have set up for him in the bathroom, said Naruto. What you do? Asked both Shikamaru and Choji. You'll see in about, said Naruto before being cut off by a not-so-manly scream. Now let's add video 4 to our home movie, said Naruto pointing the camera at the door as Sasuke slammed open the door and stalking into the room with the same killing intent aura around him like before, but only this time stronger than the last one. You are so dead? Roared Sasuke, putting emphasis on each word. The threat was ignored by everyone in the room because everyone was on the floor laughing their heads off at the sight of the pissed-off Uchiha. She can't be breathed, cried Naruto, trying to clam her laughter down, but failing every time she saw Sasuke. As the three continued to laugh at the Uchiha, the more pissed off he got, causing anime veins to appear all over his forehead and fists until he finally snapped. Shut up! Shouted Sasuke, ready to kill everybody in the room at that exact moment. Oh come on Sasuke, it's Snickers, not that bad, said Naruto, trying to keep herself from laughing at him again by putting both of her hands on her mouth to stop herself laughing. The little veins Sasuke had just popped. Not that bad. Are you kidding me? You dyed my hair freaking orange! Screamed Sasuke, getting into Naruto's face. Remember the deal, Sasuke, you have to be nice to us and means you can't kill us, said Naruto. Forget the deal. You're going to pay for this dope and I promise you're not going to like it when I get even with you, vowed Sasuke, stomping out of the room fuming mad. Wow, he really mad isn't he, said Naruto. She then remembered the other part of her prank. Oh crap team, wait, don't take off, the shouted Naruto before being caught off again by a scream of pain emanating from Sasuke's room. Towel. Crap, now he's really mad at me, said Naruto walking back into the room. What you do to the towel? Asked Choji. Naruto smiles at her friends before answering the question. I kind of put some super glue on his towel, explained Naruto. Shikamaru and Choji both head at that, feeling Sasuke's pain. Ouch man, that had to be hurt like hell, stated Shikamaru. Well, I don't about you two, but I'm going downstairs to eat some breakfast, said Naruto, leaving the room closely followed by Shikamaru and Choji. The trio and the Uchiha were eating peacefully until Sasuke limped into the room holding his crotch in pain. When Mikoto saw Sasuke, she fainted, while Mr. Uchiha spat his coffee out and caused Itachi to stare in shock as his food fell out of his mouth, while Naruto, Shikamaru, and Choji snickered at the scowling orange-haired Sasuke as he limped to the table. After a few minutes, Mikoto regained consciousness, and everyone calmed down. Did anyone say anything? Well, little brother, that hair color of yours is quite interesting, but I figured you'd dye your hair to match your girlfriend's hair color, said Itachi, smirking at Sasuke. Sasuke growled at his brother and glared at him. I don't have a girlfriend, spat Sasuke. Oh no, I would say you and Naruto were dating after you kissed her yesterday, stated Itachi. If possible, Sasuke scowled the pen, and Naruto was choking on her food while Shikamaru's eyes were twitching and Choji looked horrified at the thought. She is not my / her boyfriend / girlfriend, screamed Naruto, Shikamaru, Choji and Sasuke all at once. Okay, I'm going to work. Bye, honey. Good luck, you are going to need it, said Mr. Uchiha, walking out the door as fast as he could. I'm going with him. Good luck, mother, you are so going to need it, said Itachi, following his father out the door. Thanks, boys, you're great help, said Mikoto. Mikoto turned to the kids to see Naruto looking disgusted as were Shikamaru and Choji, and saw that Sasuke was scowling at them and glaring holes into Naruto. Okay, kids, let's all try to get along here and play nice with one another. That means no more pranks and no more picking fights, understand, said Mikoto. Yes, Mama, said everyone in unison. Good. Naruto dear, please tell me the dye will wear off, pleaded Mikoto. Yes, Mama, it should wear off in about 2 weeks, said Naruto. 2 weeks, are you kidding me? I have school Monday morning, no one can see me like this, said Sasuke. Oh, you'll be fine. I'm Snickers, sure no one will notice, said Naruto. Sasuke glared at her with his eye twitching in annoyance. Enough. Now I have some people coming over tonight to help with your training today, Naruto, and I want everyone to be nice to everyone, demanded Mikoto. Everyone shut up at once at the mention of company. Mom, please tell me you did not invite those two, said Sasuke. Sasuke, they are great with flowering arrangement, and they could really help Naruto out with it, said Mikoto as the door bell rung and Mikoto went to answer the door. Hey team, who is the two girl you don't want over? Asked Naruto.